What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And yo, gentle country folk, my name be Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
No matter how bad it is either.
Hooray!
Especially this week.
Or irrelevant.
Nando. I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
told somebody we were doing this, and they were like, did they make a new Robin Hood movie? And I was like, no. And they were like, did Russell Crowe make a new movie? And I was like, probably. But I haven't seen it, and that's not why. And then they were like, why? And I explained it to them, and they were like, oh, okay. And that's all I got.
All right.
That's the most damning reaction of all.
Oh, yeah, that sounds cool. Cool. I mean,
All right.
you know what, DJ? Explain yourself. I think we've done this a couple times.
No, don't.
Where we thrust the blame for a thing on DJ and go like, DJ, take responsibility for the whole podcast before we do it.
Even though we agreed to it.
I half agree. I agreed very half-heartedly, knowing this movie was nothing. Having not seen it, though.
Okay, so, like, I
DJ,
thought...
explain yourself. Use your most, like, strong... I mean, I don't know what the argument would be.
I mean, it's a very poor argument, but... You know, we had recorded last week's episode, and then I think the GameStop story broke like the next day, and I was just like, guys, wouldn't it be fun to do a movie of, you know, with all this like crazy GameStop stuff? And I was like, oh, what if we did the Big Short or whatever? It's like, nah, the movie's too good.
Wolf of Wall Street, I think, was in the list.
Nah, I won't do that. But then it was like all the Robin Hood stuff happened where they like weren't let people buy GameStop stock, and we're like, oh guys, let's do Robin Hood, but not the Taron Egerton one because we had already done that one, the Russell Crowe one because we hadn't done that one, and it'll be like a funny gag. Now, as always, we're like a week late to the gag. It would have been like if we were like, let's do a movie on Bernie Sanders memes. Like, this is how this feels. Is it like it lives and then it dies and then we just record about it after the fact? I think it's very on brand for us. I was actually hopeful. I had never seen this movie, but I had thought that maybe the movie would be like really funny bad, but it's just like really regular bad. And that's unfortunate because I also didn't know it was 2.5 hours when I pitched it. And it's every second of 2.5 hours. So I'm sorry. I guess I'll say on the front end, like, don't watch this movie, anybody. Go watch the Taron Egerton one with Jamie Foxx, and then listen to our podcast about that. But also listen to this podcast, but just imagine the movie. Don't watch it, because it's not worth your time. You can watch,
we've talked about...
3 Space Jams.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, you can watch so many better things. Go ahead.
We've talked about Game of Thrones on the show before, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what this is, or like kind of what it wants to be. So
it's even got
we're talking about that.
What's his name? Mark Addy in it.
Who's that? Is that the Sheriff of Nottingham?
No, he is Friar Tuck, and in Game of Thrones he plays Robert Baratheon.
Oh yeah, he's the guy from Knight's Tale. I remember that. Mm-hmm. Who is the Sheriff of Nottingham? Am I supposed to know who that is?
Let's see. The Sheriff of Nottingham is Matthew McFadden.
Ugh. How do you get so many stars in this movie? The movie is packed with stars.
I know.
How do you get so many stars in the movie, and then your Sheriff of Nottingham is like
Tom
the least known person
from Succession? I mean, come on.
Nah, I don't watch Succession.
I don't either.
I mean, it's
I have no idea.
It's apparently okay.
I've heard very good things about it. I've never watched it. Also, the way you do that is you make a Robin Hood movie where the Sheriff of Nottingham does nothing and doesn't matter.
That's true, yeah.
Which is insane!
It's a weird mix of this movie because it's very much like it's a Robin Hood movie that's just basic Wikipedia Robin Hood summary of like, does this, knows this person, does like this person, does like this person. However, it's also a whole nother movie, and it like mushes them together. So every time you're like, oh, okay, I see. Finally, this is the bad guy. It's like, well, no, not really, kind of. It's I know you're trying to figure out how this guy factored into the plot. He's the bad guy, and you're following him instead. And all these other guys, it's not really going to be any payoff. I mean, do you think they thought they would get Robin Hood 2 out of this?
Allegedly, yes.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
They were
it.
publicly talking about it, like when it was premiering.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, there was an interview with the Times, the British Times, where the director had said, honestly, I thought, why not have the potential for a sequel?
The director being, by the way, Ridley Scott, a person I'm sure you are all familiar with.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just such a... I have lots of love for Ridley Scott movies, but not these. None of the ones since the 20s and 2000s, I guess.
Not The Martian?
Gladiator.
You don't love The Martian?
I don't know. The Martian was fine. I've never even thought about going back to it. I remember
Martian was
the
fun.
end, he flies
it.
around in space or something. I don't know. It's probably fine.
What about All the Money in the World?
Was that the one that Kevin Spacey was in and then he wasn't?
Yes.
Why didn't we do that one? It's called All the Money in the World. All right. Well, Ridley Scott just hates Robin Hood and loves... I mean, I assume it's also about the stock market or something. I don't know.
He hates Robin Hood and he loves badly mangled English history.
Yeah. And they also did the show... did that show where Tom Hardy was like a guy in a hat and was on all the posters, and you're like, this isn't enough for me, posters. You want me to care about this, but I just don't. I don't remember what that show was called.
Was it Gettysburg?
No, it's got a weirder name than that.
Oh, wow.
It's like
narrated by Sam Rockwell. We should get in
ooh,
on that.
Gettysburg, is it a movie?
It is a documentary, but narrated by Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's true. That sounds pretty good if you ask me. Better than this. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's some sort of show.
With Tom Hardy?
Yeah, right? Am I crazy?
Well, now I'm just going to Google it. Ridley Scott, Tom Hardy.
Is that thing?
They're supposed to do a Netflix movie? Taboo?
Taboo! Yeah, that was the one.
Okay.
Where you saw the posters, you were like, wow, that's going to be something. And then you watched it, and you were like, I don't know.
What is this? Should we be doing this? Should we be doing this movie? Oh.
I didn't like it that much either. But here's what we're doing. We're doing this, and because DJ has the whole thing with... Because what you were describing as the Robin Hood stock fiasco, absolutely. That is what got us onto this track. But what sold me on it, foolishly... was DJ was like, and it's got Russell Crowe, Kurt Russell, from the olden days. And I was like, oh, yeah, that is usually enough to keep one of these interesting. And we will see. We're testing the limits of how funny it is that Kurt Russell and Russell Crowe are different people.
Yeah.
This episode.
I thought about doing the bit about, Kurt Russell, but I don't know. Quick thought experiment. What if Kurt Russell was in this movie? Would it be better?
Yeah. Russell Crowe's the worst part. So anyone else in that role would probably be an improvement.
I'm trying to think.
Well, to be fair, how much is it Russell Crowe's fault, and how much is it just that the character is nothing?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the reason it stinks, but I think him being I don't know, he takes it so seriously in a way that's just no fun.
Yeah,
the other characters, you can see a little bit of fun peeking through, and you're like, oh, this could be fun. But he's just so grounded and down to earth. This is like a real Robin Hood. This is like those foxes. This is like a cool adult Robin Hood. And it's like, shut up, dude. That's not what it is. I mean, it is, but that's not a good idea.
We need to stop making those movies that it's like, it's the gritty this. It's like, no, like that's dumb, because I feel like the point is for it to be so the idea of it is fun. Like, there was the Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie that I never saw, but I think was that movie any good?
Yeah.
Who was in that?
That one,
the guy from Pacific Rim,
Charlie
Hunnam.
Yeah. I think the deal with that was it was also supposed to be kind of fantastical in a way that's it didn't seem to pick a lane the way you'd hope. But no, yeah, I mean, public domain movies have to stop. We can't do them.
Yeah.
They're all bad. Like this, Sherlock Holmes and King Arthur, just never make another one. They can be in movies, but they can't be the main character of the movie.
Oh, I have an idea.
Sherlock Holmes movies aren't that bad.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They're not the worst thing ever.
They're fine.
I don't think
Can I pitch you an idea?
Yes.
I want someone. Well, Universal did this Robin Hood movie, but yeah, you know what? Let's do Universal. So Universal has given up on the dark universe of monsters.
Dark universe.
What if they cobble together like just like a random assortment like fantasy universe where like they somehow get Robin Hood and King Arthur and Sherlock Holmes and just grab
The public domain-iverse?
Yes.
Can Zorro be in it?
Yes.
Ooh.
We make like an Avengers, but with all these characters, and like you put them together. I don't know. Is there a public domain time traveler character? He could like bring them all together, like Legends of Tomorrow style.
I mean, the time traveler, right? He's probably
okay.
that
Sure.
movie, like the H.G. Wells one. That's got to be in the public domain.
He
I
has
believe
to.
so, yes.
He has to stop Cthulhu from wreaking havoc, so he
Yeah.
goes through time and grabs as many just random public domain heroes.
All of history's
guys that
greatest,
existed.
least expensive heroes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this seems like the kind of thing that you could do that way, or you could do some child needs to write a book report and does a whatchamacallit, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with the public domain heroes. Like, these are all guys that Wishbone would befriend or something in episodes of Wishbone, because
Wishbone.
they're accessible via the public domain, and they're all kind of the same. But because this character, he is Robin Hood for sure. Kind of, but also
I don't know,
he's
I'm not
kind
convinced.
of King Arthur, kind of as well. He's a bunch of them.
I was waiting.
He's whatever you want.
I was waiting
He's
for
Braveheart. He's Braveheart.
Yeah,
that's a good
he's
way to put it.
Braveheart.
I was
He's
waiting.
Henry V. Yeah,
I was waiting for him to become king by the end of this movie. I thought that would have been like a really oh, that's an interesting take. But no, they do the most boring, uninteresting take ever. And
Well, he's
I hate
just
this movie so
the movie is
much.
just barely accurate enough to English history to preclude that possibility, but it's close.
Okay. That was the other thing that Diggins, I thought you would be really helpful. So I'm really bad with all kinds of history, but especially like mid-century European history. I'm the word. If you named a guy and be like, DJ, what century was this person alive? Like, if it's anywhere between like 6th and like 16th century, like that, 1,000-year window, I don't know, I think I'm fucked. I give you a good shot.
honest.
Let's
I'm
do
kinda
it.
with you on
pull,
that one.
Pull
No,
people. Let's see if I can nail the century they're from. Let's go, Diggins.
Oh, okay.
I've unprepared you for this game.
name some guys. How about
Pope
Henry
Urban
VIII?
II.
What about that one?
All right, well, I'll do both. All right, Henry VIII, I'm going to go with 13th.
How about this? Tell me their birthday, and I'll give you 100 years in either direction.
Wait, like
just guess
month,
when he
day,
was-
year?
A year.
A year? Okay.
Yeah.
So for Henry VIII, I'm going to go with like 1345, and whatever Pope Diggins said, I'm going to go the year 682.
All right, you were close, but not quite there with Henry VIII. It was 1491.
Ow, man!
Yeah, a little more recent.
Okay. What about
What
that
about
Pope?
Diggins' one? I
Yeah.
don't know who
What about the
fuck
Pope?
that guy is.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you gave me a birthday. Can you also give me a shot in the dark of why Pope Urban II is a figure of historical interest?
Is it that he was the only pope who was also a knight? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to say first Jewish pope.
Good
and
guesses. Good guesses. You want to give me a year too, Nando, since you said that?
God, Pope Urban. Let's say, what was this window between 6 and 16?
6th and 16th centuries.
I'm going to say Pope Urban. Let's say, we've been talking about schisms in the past. I'd say like 1050. That's my Pope Urban.
Okay. DJ, you were extremely wrong on year. Nando, you were very close. He was born 1035.
Oh, dude, you got the
There you go.
100-year window. Good job.
What did he do? What's his thing?
He was the first pope to initiate a crusade.
Oh, that's awful.
Much like this movie, kind of.
Wow.
Not really, but like kind of crusade-y.
Well,
That's
it's,
Crusade.
he's we'll get into the historical accuracy of it, but in this movie, Robin and King Richard the Lionheart are returning home from the Crusades, yes. Although those were the
Yeah.
third Crusades, and Pope Urban obviously was the first Crusades.
Right, yeah. This is a good movie. No, wait, it's not.
Yeah.
Is this okay? Let's think about this. We got Robin Hood 2016 or whenever it was, the one with Taron Egerton.
Yeah, I think it's
probably
2018
or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We got that one, which me and DJ saw. Diggins did not.
2018.
We got this one. We got the one with the foxes that do dress up as
Love
people.
that.
We got the one with Kevin Costner, which I have never seen, but I've heard not great things, but like mostly because it's kind of dumb. But then we also have Robin Hood Men in Tights. Those are like the 5 big Robin Hood movies of like the modern generation. I know they made them since the 30s probably. They're pumping out Robin Hoods as quickly as possible. Is this the worst one?
So I never saw the Kevin
like,
Costner one, so maybe.
I feel like I cannot answer that without having seen the Taron Egerton one, because if one of those is going to be worse than this one, it's got to be that one.
It's not.
I think
I promise it's not.
The Taron Egerton one is more of a like generic-y kind of movie, but because of that, it kind of works as a movie. It's just a really weird, boring Robin Hood. Like, not boring, but it's just a weird take on Robin Hood.
But, like, at least Taron Egerton's interesting. And, like, the one thing that I will give that movie, as bad as it is, like, it at least has him do a fair amount of Robin Hooding, where there is no Robin Hooding to be seen in this movie. So I feel like if that's the only one you're questioning Diggins, then this one's worse.
Okay, then I gotta say it's probably this one, because I've never seen that Kevin Costner one, but Alan Rickman plays the Sheriff of Nottingham, and with a villain that good, it can't be worse than this.
That's true.
Well, and the Taron Egerton one, besides having Penny Mendo as the sheriff and he's like fine, but it's a bigger swing in terms of like a really weird stylistic like historical inaccuracy like thing that you're like, I think you'd have to kind of appreciate it as its silliness, where like, you know, the horses are cars and the bow and arrows are guns, and like it's pretty weird. All their outfits are stupid. Like
that would be fine. The historical inaccuracies bother me in this one because it feels like it's trying to be a historical epic.
Yeah, that's, I think, another one of this movie's many big problems. Guys, we got to talk about Robin Hood.
Yeah, we do.
The app, not a good app, you guys. They did bad things or something. I don't completely understand it, but I know they suck. And
I like when
You know, I think, and I'll get to this later, that it's very apt that we were inspired to talk about this by a Robin Hood that used the rhetoric of its of the legend to pretend that it was for the common folk, when really it was entirely about the aristocracy.
Very good. That is a good point.
I don't know, guys. I read the email
more.
Robin Hood sent me, and I'm convinced that they were just doing what they had to for, I guess they had to keep a certain amount of money on the books. I don't know what the rules are, but I'm convinced. I'm an idiot.
It's so funny. I mean, definitely, if you want to enjoy just kind of the situation of Robin Hood without necessarily taking a side on any of the GME stuff, but just like, why are they at fault here in some respects? Chris Cuomo did an interview with the Robin Hood CEO. And the Robin Hood CEO looks like the biggest, most, like, just the worst. It's hard to describe. Yeah, he's just, like, a really uncharismatic, like, who does he look like? He looks like somebody. But he's got that Mark Zuckerberg kind of, like, half answers to everything, like, when he's in front of Congress.
Okay.
But he's also, like, unlike when Mark Zuckerberg is in front of Congress, Chris Cuomo seems to get it and understand what's going on, like with stocks and just why it's a weird choice they made, Robin Hood. And he's like, but if you didn't need liquidity, that means you didn't need to cancel the stocks. So what's wrong? And there's one point, I think, where Chris Cuomo's like, because it kind of sounds like what you did was this. And if you did that, then you're in trouble. And it's, you know, it's a fun little interview.
Oh, man. I'll have to go watch that. That sounds freaking awesome.
No, yeah, that guy sucks.
So then,
I mean,
who is like, is Chris Cuomo like the Sheriff of Nottingham? He's like taking down Robin Hood.
Asking too many questions about where the money's coming from.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe they're all Robin Hood.
Who's Robin
We're
Hood's
the
auditor?
Sheriff of Nottingham. Yeah.
Like Friar Tuck? Like, what are you doing, Robin Hood? Where'd you get all these extra gold chains?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh God. I mean, has a brand ever been more tarnished in 2020 or 2021? I guess than the brand of Robin Hood, a thing known by the app, the movie we just watched, and then the Taron Egerton one. Like a 20-year-old has never seen a good Robin Hood movie released in their lifetime, or really popularized in their lifetime.
I feel like Robin Hood has like. You don't get, like, sincere takes on Robin Hood anymore, and you haven't in a long time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What do you mean by, like, sincere takes? Like, what do you mean by that?
I mean, like, when I think of, like, pop cultural depictions of Robin Hood from, like, my cultural lifetime, usually they're, like, ironic takes or jokes in which he is, like, using I steal from the poor and give to the rich as like PR, but really he keeps most of it for himself. Like say in the motion picture Shrek.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that Robin Hood.
I mean, he's only in the movie for like a minute, but
yeah, he does a little song, and then the Matrix happens to him, and then it's over.
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
great Robin Hood.
Better than this. I wish this was 1 minute long. That would be a real treat.
The fact that it's 2.5
by
hours
sheer
long
quantity,
also like really kills it. Like
it's so long.
It's so much longer than it needs to be
and it's so cuttable. Yeah, there's so much fluff.
There's slow-mo in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they should have cut the Robin Hood plot because it's not what the movie wants to be.
Yeah, it wants to be like a weird historical epic about like the French and English War or whatever.
It should have just been a movie about Prince John, because that's what it wants to be.
Well, that's what the original version of this was, right? In like 2010's Robin Hood originally was a movie called Nottingham that was largely about the sheriff of Nottingham as the protagonist, with Robin Hood as kind of a villain.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I'm not able to get a hand on that script, but obviously it was changed a lot.
Yeah.
And turned into this, and there was one point where what's-his-name was going to be both, like Russell Crowe was going to be Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham, which, sure. But, I mean, it wouldn't matter in this, because...
Would have been like a Black Swan-esque take on the legend.
Yeah. But they got rid of all the interesting stuff, and we just got this. Yeah, I don't know. But they had it. They had an idea for a second, and they didn't
slip
do it.
through their finger. It's like so many grains of sand.
Yeah. And I mean, oh God. I mean, do you guys remember when this came out? We were all in college, I think.
No, I don't remember a trailer. I have nothing for this movie.
I'd forgotten this existed until DJ suggested it as a movie to do.
Like a goddamn fool, fucking DJ.
Yeah. So then what's the point of this movie in the real world? Like, did it have any, like stank power? Was anybody like, oh, cool.
Russell Crowe got $20 million for doing it. I guess that's something.
Wow.
That's what Wikipedia
kept our boy
says.
Russell fed.
Nice. Good for him, I guess. Because then we got lots of great movies. Like The Man with the Iron Fist.
Yep, that's the one I always go to.
Nice Guys. A bunch of other ones. He's fun in movies.
I forgot about Nice Guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then there's that one movie where he's a mad guy who runs a lady off the road. Do you remember that?
Yes, vaguely. Very vaguely.
I think it was called Unhinged. It was the first movie, technically, that got released post-pandemic in that window when they were doing that. Like when it was like, oh, it's a movie. Go see it at your own risk, and then it kind of disappeared. But yeah, it's just about a guy who gets cut off in traffic and then decides to kill the woman or something. I don't know. I couldn't care less. But yeah, it's called Unhinged. But I mean, he does good movies too, like The Mummy. He was great in that.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
The Mummy, starring. Tom
Cruise.
He was Jekyll. He was.
He jumps around like, "What's my name, Hyde? It's Hyde's gonna come for you, baby."
And he got to do that excellent job of singing as Javert in the Tom Hooper's Les Mis.
That's right. And he was in the Man of Steel. He was El Jarrell.
Oh, yeah.
The one who stands around, mostly. But then he also had a little karate scene at one point. What's wrong with Russell Crowe? What's his deal? Does he think these movies are good?
No, it's all money. If you look at every movie he does, it's like this like big thing. So I think he's just in it for the money.
Which I respect.
Truly believe that.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Like, nothing what he's done, I'm like, yeah, he's in it for the art. Yeah, now I gotta go to his IMDb to be proven.
There was a 5-year period in the 2000s when he did a bunch of those. Did Gladiator, Beautiful Mind, Master and Commander, Cinderella Man. Knocked those out within 5 years of each other and then never looked back.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, those are my good movies. I'll never again.
I guess
well, Nice
you
Guys
know what?
is
He's
good.
not bad in American Gangster. He's good in that.
310 to Yuma is supposed to be pretty good, I think.
It's fine. He's not in it as much as you'd expect. It's mostly the other two of them.
Nando, you're a well-known advocate of The Man with the Iron Fists.
I love that movie. DJ hates it because he is wrong.
What? I don't hate that movie. What are you
You hate
crazy?
it. The Man with the Iron Fist is great, and he is great in it because his character doesn't care about the movie that much, but he's kind of invested. I don't know. It's hard to explain why he works in that movie, but he works in that movie. Quite liked him.
My name is Mr. Knife.
Yeah.
Jack, for short.
Jackknife.
Fucking
Also,
A.
he's in something called Ark, the animated series. It looks like some sort of, I don't know, anime.
Is it anything like Noah? Because he was Noah in Noah.
That's right. Maybe he just wants to do more movies with arcs in them.
Winter's
This is
Tale.
about-
Oh my God! How can we forget Winter's Tale?
Which one's Winter's Tale? What's he in that?
That's the Will Smith one, isn't it?
Yeah, where he's the
Oh my
devil.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know
where
who
he
Russell
wears shoes.
Russell
like
Crowe
normal shoes,
is.
like guys
Pearly
wear.
Soames / Demon.
Oh,
no,
sure, yeah.
No. Winter's Tale is not the... Oh, wait, no, it is the Will Smith one. He is in that. God damn.
He's the devil, but in casual shoes, because he's just a cool guy like me and you.
Sorry,
but not
I was...
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is like an oldie-timey guy.
I was thinking of... God, what's that Will Smith movie where he's like...
Oh, Intolerable, or Something Beauty.
After Earth.
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
What is it called?
Where he's dead? Sorry, spoiler for that movie.
Well, that's not it.
Wait,
What movie are you thinking of, DJ?
isn't there a movie where he keeps seeing women, but it turns out that or the women are dead or he's dead? Oh my God.
Oh, DJ, we got to
Well-
do that next week. Never mind. We're not going to talk about
Wait.
that for a minute more.
Wait,
Maybe
wait.
not next week, but eventually.
Do you know what I'm talking about though?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Diggins,
That's
do you know
not
what I'm
what
talking
happens in
about?
the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, it sounds like you have a misunderstanding about what the movie Nando and I are talking about is about because you're in the
Okay.
ballpark, but you're not right.
Yeah, I want to say Untouchable Beauty, but that's not it. Oh, Collateral Beauty. Here we go.
That's it. Yes.
He's not dead? That's not, I thought the thing was that he's dead.
No, well, we'll have to find out one of these days.
Well, now I really want to do it.
no, Will Smith, I mean, we've talked about him because he's been in several movies that have come up, your Gemini Men.
You
and
may
such,
you may
and-
have heard of this Will Smith fellow. He's been in movies before.
Well, he seems to be doing, like, Russell Crowe in the 2000s. I mean, I don't know. This one's a weird one because I think he put his all into this one and he thought this was going to be a big old, like, big franchise and stuff. But usually it seems like he was just doing movies that seemed kind of fun, like Man with the Iron Fists or Les Mis. Like, yeah, let's give that a try. But I feel like Will Smith just made movie after movie after movie after movie in the 2010s that he thought was legitimately going to be a 10-movie franchise. And then everyone was a bigger bomb than the next, like your Suicide Squads and your After Earths and stuff. So he feels like he's trying a little bit more. But
And this movie, by the way, was not a financial bomb. It was modestly profitable, but not enough to be worth pursuing anymore. So it's kind of like right in that mediocrity disappointment zone that no one's happy with.
yeah, I mean, it seems like if they wanted to make the sequel to this, it would probably be more expensive because some of the actors got more expensive in the time between when this movie came out and then, like, the future. Mostly one. But I would say two. I think there's two actors who would probably cost a bunch more to get. And you'd need them both for the sequel.
Who's like the craziest person in this movie in terms of like, oh my God, I can't believe they're in this movie? Because I think for me it's like pretty clear.
God. I mean, there's some that I'm like, I can't believe they're a main character in this movie. But then there's other ones that's like, ooh, that guy.
So let's like the first one. Like
to
they're
be
a
clear-
main. Yeah.
You can't believe they actually got Max von Sydow to be Sir Walter Loxley in this movie.
How
Oh my God.
did you know? Was I that obvious about it?
Yeah, you were. You know, well, everyone here knows that DJ's a massive Max von Sydow fan.
I love him
DJ,
so
what's your
much.
favorite Max von Sydow movie? Besides this, of course.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, there's so many ones to choose, but I think my favorite one has to be Pele the Conqueror.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, nice.
I love that. Or Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, a movie I've actually heard of.
Ugh, that movie.
I mean, if you're just going for a movie you've heard of, you're missing a very, very
Yeah.
obvious one.
Oh, God.
You're missing several. I feel like he does pop up in things from time to time.
Let's see. Is it Time is Money? No.
Yep, that's it.
Time is money.
Citizen X? Let's see.
What list are you looking at?
Like random like award stuff. I'm in like the 90s. What movie? am
Oh,
I-
okay, yeah. So you're not gonna get it.
What movie am I missing?
Well, there's a couple that are like pretty good. So he's in Flash Gordon, the movie.
Oh.
He plays Ming. It's very bizarre.
The Merciless?
He apparently.
Oh,
Very
Shutter
sane.
Island. Oh, that's cool.
He is in Shutter Island. Yep.
He's in Minority Report.
Yep. Another huge winner. And like, I don't remember where he is in Minority Report, but I'm sure he's great. Apparently, he's in Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Oh, as
As
who?
a character named Esbern.
Oh, it's not my
Shrugs
head.
shoulders.
They
And
always
then
get
the-
like good actors for that.
And then the big one, he is in The Wolfman as passenger on train. Well, actually, okay, there are two bigger ones. There's one bigger one, but then he's also the Three-Eyed Raven in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's cool.
I forgot about that.
Remember Game of Thrones?
Yeah, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of like this.
I'd say there's still two big ones that Nando has not mentioned. One of them he's actually a big part of. One of them.
What's the
he's
other
in.
one that's bigger than this?
I would say it's bigger than
it
that,
the-
but it's a big one.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So DJ,
Yes.
remember that movie from history
Okay.
when the guy does checkers with death or chess with death?
Oh my! I have no idea what this is.
The Seventh Seal?
Well, he's in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Seventh Seal.
That's kind of like one of them. But then what's the other one, Diggins?
Oh, I was talking about movies that DJ would know. There are two big movies
okay.
DJ would know that have not come up, at least as
Man,
far as
I'm
I can
trying to
tell.
figure
Now
out
I'm
what the
suddenly
second one
now I'm
is.
suddenly afraid that it has come up, and I just
No.
wasn't listening.
No, probably
The
not.
biggest
That
one
never
hasn't.
happens.
I mean, other small ones that haven't been mentioned. He's in the Judge Dredd movie, apparently. The
Ooh.
original one, not the newer one that's good.
Okay, well, here's the two I'm talking
let's-
about to not draw out this
Yeah.
bit any further. The first one, the smaller one, is that he is the voice of Vigo the Carpathian in Ghostbusters 2.
Okay, okay,
Oh.
that's cool.
The second one, in which he really just plays a small cameo, but it is a movie he is in that DJ definitely knows, is he
Yeah.
is the guy being met with at the very beginning of The Force Awakens.
Oh,
Classically meeting an actor named Oscar Van Isaac, a guy
Yeah.
you may know from a movie called This Piece of Shit.
Yeah.
Fine.
It was fans of the 2010 Robin Hood were really excited at that reunion from Max von Sydow and Oscar Isaac.
They should have been. Little did they know history was being made. We were getting the Oscar Isaac, Max von Sydow. I mean, they got to classically. Were they in any scenes together in this? I don't think so, right?
Nope, not a one.
So finally, a meeting of the minds. You got the Loxley daddy versus the one with the crown, the best guy. I keep wanting to say he's King John, right? Or Prince John.
Well, in this movie, he's King John. He is classically referred to in Robin Hood stories as Prince John.
Okay. This got me a little bit confused when I was describing this to someone. But anyway, yeah, Max von Sydow, he is great. But no, there were a couple. I mean, Leah Seydoux in this really caught me off guard for a second. So
Oh yeah, it was nice to see her for a few seconds.
Sure. I mean, she didn't do like her character may have been the one that the movie was least interested in.
Oh yeah,
checking in on.
Yeah, that's what I mean by it was nice to see her for a few seconds. As in, that is about as long as she is in the movie.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there were some fun characters in this. DJ,
Yes.
we can't hold on any longer.
Oh, I was really holding out.
Do you think the IMDb summary for this movie is?
Oh man. Okay. After returning from the Crusades with the English army, Robin Hood and his band of thieves must work together to stop King John and the Sheriff of Nottingham, who are going to tear England apart before the French can come and wage war on a divided England.
Okay.
It's like the best
Diggins?
I got.
What do you got?
After deserting from the English army, humble yeoman Robin Longstride fulfills a promise to a dying man that gets him tangled up in a battle for the very future of England and its crown.
This is tough. I'm gonna give it a Diggins, because I'm mad the DJ made me watch this movie. No, mostly I would say Diggins did the one thing that I was like, if neither of them do this, or if one of them does this and the other doesn't, they'll probably win. Diggins correctly named our protagonist in the summary, where he is not Robin Locksley or Robin Hood, he is Robin Longstride. But I mean, most of the rest of it is just kind of up in the air. Here's what we got. In 12th century England, Robin Longstride and his band of marauders confront corruption in a local village and lead an uprising against the crown that will forever alter the balance of world power. So
Now,
kind of
you
both.
could be forgiven for not getting that because pretty much every sentence of it is wrong.
They got local village
I guess.
and England. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, what did you guys think of this movie? It's directed by, like I said, directed by Ridley Scott, written by several people: Brian Hegland, Ethan Reif, and Cyrus Forrest. I don't know who any of them are, but it seems like this movie went through quite a few revisions, so who knows who really wrote it. Brian Helgeland apparently wrote the Knight's Tale movie, the one with that guy,
The guy from The Thing?
Heath Ledger. Yeah, so he has kind of made a movie kind of like this before, and you could tell there were flashes of Knight's Tale-iness, kind of, but this movie wishes it was a Knight's Tale.
It would have been better.
It stars Russell Crowe as Robin Longstride, Cate Blanchett as Marion Locksley.
Oh yeah, totally got distracted from Diggins. That's who I can't believe's in this movie.
Oh, really?
It's insane she's in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, she's
Listen,
pretty good in it.
I'm never going to turn down an opportunity to see Cate Blanchett.
Well, she's one of the ones that I think her star kind of rose in the late 2010s. I don't know if it was Oscar business or what, but I feel like she'd be a little tougher to nail
her
down.
star rose in the 2000s when she played Galadriel.
Yeah, one was what was the Oscar movie she was in that was like
Blue Ivy? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Maybe, I can't remember.
Starring Louis C.K. Haha.
Oh yeah, he should have been in this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Blue Jasmine is what you mean, right?
Blue Jasmine, my bad. Blue Ivy is
the
Jay-Z's
child,
daughter.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Blue Ivy. What are you talking about?
But yeah, that's she's in that. She's in Benjamin Button, Indiana Jones, Elizabeth. That's one that she got some credit for.
She played Carol in Carol.
She was the eponymous Carol.
Great movie.
So
by
yeah,
the way.
she had a bunch of big pictures before she really broke free in Thor Ragnarok, and now she's.
I was waiting.
favorite
I was
guy.
waiting
me
for that.
too.
Well, the other one was she was Ocean's 8. She was one of the 8.
She was
That's
one
true.
of the 8. She's the 8
Shit.
who rode the motorcycle and was cool.
Yeah,
right?
she was
Yeah,
the one
she-
who was.
She was the character who should have been Julia Roberts' girlfriend.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, she
that
was the
would've been
Brad
good.
Pitt type in this group. She was the one who was like, "You can't do the job," and then the other one, Sandra Bullock, was like, "But I'm gonna do the job."
Sandra Bullock, not Julia Roberts. I'm a fool.
We knew what you meant.
Well,
Also,
they could have been. Julia
yeah.
Roberts exists in that universe as well.
Oh yeah, she's the wife. So
Yeah, it's the same universe.
I think that's why I got confused. But no, absolutely should have been Sandra Bullock's girlfriend in that movie. It would have been a better movie.
Did they ever make a second one? Like, not like make a second one, but have anybody
Ocean's
ever...
9. I think they
Are they
want
gonna
to
do that? Yeah.
probably.
They've been talking about it. It hasn't come out. I don't know where it stands in terms of production.
I mean, all those people could just stand for another like easy payday, so I could easily see it happening.
James Corden, Golden Globe nominee, baby.
James Corden, his demonic contract still working its magic over studio heads.
Yep, that's exactly it. He's not in this, thank God. Who would he be?
Oh,
Who would
Friar
he be in this
Tuck.
one?
Friar Tuck, easy.
Yeah, right. Beekeeper Tuck. What a weird little thing that
Yeah,
was.
is that
What
a
that?
thing? Like, I was so confused by what were actual things in this movie and what the movie was like. Yeah, this is a thing now, fuckers. This
Right,
is our
'cause
Robin
the movie's
Hood.
not good. So it's like, if it was a good movie, there'd be a million articles that would be like, this was actually a thing from, they had bees. But now you're like, did they though? Or did they just make that up? It seems like this is probably more accurate than usual for just like your average movie.
Yeah.
But okay,
More
so we got
accurate
Matthew
about
McFadden.
what?
Oh, just like about like historical stuff. Like, I
No.
feel like the way they dressed and whatnot.
Maybe the
Kinda
dress, but not much else.
I mean,
Well, like no, like
They-
you're saying that there aren't. They're the historical inaccuracies in this movie are high.
no, I'm saying like compare. Well, I guess I'm comparing it to all the other Robin Hoods, but I think out of all of the Robin Hood movies, this is probably the most historically accurate. I would guess.
I mean, maybe.
Right? Like I think that's what they were going for here was realistic Robin Hood.
Honestly, the Disney one might be better.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I'm including the fact that all the characters in it are animal people.
That's right. But okay, so you got Matthew McFadden as the Sheriff of Nottingham. For people that don't recognize that name, apparently he was in the movie Pride and Prejudice. He's Mr. Darcy in that.
Oh,
One single point of reference.
how about that?
And then you got a veritable who's who. You got Max von Sydow. You got William Hurt, the Avengers' own. You got Mark Strong.
Oh, he's
From
something.
All that great stuff. He's crushing it. You got Danny Houston in there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of,
that
trying to think of a
famous
thing
actor.
he's in. He's in stuff. He was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. What else was he in? He's also in Succession, apparently. A lot of Succession. They all got together and made Succession after this was over. I don't know. He seems like one of those guys that shows up and stuff. And then you got Mark Addy as Friar Tuck. You got Kevin Durand.
Kevin
as Little
Durant.
John.
He's in this
That's
movie.
right.
Not that one.
Not that one, a different one. The one that was the Blob in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie. So they also got together and made a movie after this. You got Leah Seydoux as Isabella of Angoulême or something. I don't know. There's like a little triangle over one of her letters. And then in a starring role, in what could have been a star-making role, because listen, he's pretty good in it. You got Oscar Isaac as Prince John, among others. There's like a million people in this movie. It never ends. There's so many characters. I don't know why, but there are. Yeah. What'd you guys think of it? DJ, I'll start with you since you forced this upon us.
I have to say that I think this movie's very bad. Grading on the curve of like Robin Hood is silly movies. It's pretty like boring. In terms of like, you think Robin Hood would have a lot of fun stealing from the rich and giving to the needy, but there's none of that in this fucking movie, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, you want? Hey, listener at home, you want to give a guess as to how many times Robin robs a man in this movie?
Is it like once?
Did you say once? Then
Once,
congratulations,
twice,
you're
if you
right.
count the time he like robs a dead body, kind of.
I
the
don't
very
count
beginning,
that.
but,
That's not the
yeah.
thing Robin Hood does. Like, anyway.
Anyway, very silly movie. So yeah, did not care for it. Thought it was very bad. It's way too long. I'm really sorry I made you guys watch it. I'd like to tell our listeners that they should avoid at all costs. This is just
How many? I would be very interested in a comparative analysis. That's not what this is called, but I use that term anyway. Just like a percentage of how many of these podcasts start with us saying, "Don't watch this movie."
Oh man, I'm sure so many.
Yeah, I think if you cut out all the boring parts of this movie and you were left with the parts that aren't very good, but it's an hour and a half long, I would be like, yeah, you know what? Turn it on in the background.
You think there's an hour and a half of not boring movie in here? Really?
So, okay, if you cut out the boringest hour and then you were left with an hour and a half of not as boring as that 1 hour, then maybe it'd be a watchable movie. I think if you cut out most of the Robin Hooding and you just had side characters, the movie's kind of fun.
I am completely serious. The Robin Hood part of this movie is so extraneous to everything else that's happening that you don't need it. It should have just been a movie about the Prince John and war with the French, because that's what it wants to be. The whole Robin Hood plot only even encounters that the rest of the movie at the very end, and in the dumbest, most ham-fisted way possible.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, Diggins, what'd you think of this one?
Oh my god, I hated it. It's boring. It's for most of the runtime, it's boring. I was like waiting for the movie to start the whole time until the dumb twist that brings Robin Hood into the main plot happened, and I realized like, oh, this is just the whole movie, and it's stupid. It's just the only thing fun about it is it gives me an opportunity to explain in excruciating detail all the things it gets wrong about history, a thing I'm sure our listeners will love.
If they don't, I will. If they don't, I will. Because I have questions, like like the bees. I have several questions. How realistic is it that, like, if someone brings your dead son's sword back from war, the dad's like, yeah, you with my daughter now, or with like his old daughter-in-law, like whatever.
Well, he thought it was him.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
Knew.
Yeah.
Well, okay, sure, but that was like, he knew he was a handsome man of
he touched his
Russell
face.
Crowe-esque face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he touched that face.
I mean, I guess what I would say is, it is historically accurate that she could not inherit his lands, even if she was married, because women were not allowed to own property at the time.
Being objects, that makes sense. They are property themselves. How could property own property?
I would also say that Walter's casual disregard for Marion's consent or well-being in this arrangement is also pretty historically accurate as to how he would have felt about how to dispose of his daughter-in-law who without his son.
All right. So cool. They got that right.
I mean, I don't think that's how they saw it when they made the movie, but I'm saying it's some historically accurate misogyny. I don't know. I mean, I guess a person might have tried that. I'm not aware of any cases where they did, but it's not the craziest part of this movie.
Yeah, he did a Don Draper kind of. That's like a thing. I feel like it seems like it's something you could pull off all the time. You'd just be like, hey, it's been a while. I've been at war. It's me, Tom. But then you're not Tom. You're a different guy. And everyone's like, I guess. You grew up a lot and your hair is different, but you've been at war. Who am I to say?
It's crazy that
you have Tom's sword.
It's crazy that no one is like, you're not fucking this guy. What's wrong with you? You're not Tom.
Anyway, they want to seem like a crackpot conspiracy theorist out there. He's right there in front of you. It's Tom from Robin Hooding and stuff. How could you not think it's him?
Because it looks nothing like Tom. Tom looks very different.
The stocks with you.
I mean, it had been 10 years. They have no pictures or anything. No one really remembers what he looks like other than like people who know him really well.
I'm just like saying not one person. Not one person.
No.
What do they give a shit? Like, what does it matter to them who owns the manor up on the hill?
All right, fair.
Yeah. I think it's part of it kind of works with Russell Crowe. Because he's, like, not a super hunk, kind of. Like, I could see a version of this movie being made in today time where, like, instead of Russell Crowe, it's, like, Henry Cavill. And it's, like, people would know. People would be like, something happened. That's not the same guy as before. That one's a super hunk. And they'd be like, but with Russell Crowe, it's like, yeah, he's a guy. He's an English guy.
It's funny to look at the one shirtless Russell Crowe scene in this movie and be like, that's what passed for chiseled back in 2010.
Dude,
Yo, those were the days.
Camille Nanjiani would fucking just like stomp him out. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, get the fuck out of here.
There was probably Twitter discourse about how Russell Crowe had steroids for that scene because of how unreasonable it was, because of how large he seemed. I mean, listen, there were a lot of shirtless dudes in this movie. Not a lot, but a couple. And it's funny that the background like fainting women in the movie were always like just falling over themselves looking at these dudes. But I guess like if it's the the olden times and everyone's got malnourishment or whatever, a couple pounds on you, it's like, guys, he's doing good.
Yeah, healthy boy.
Way to go. Yeah.
I mean, it is the case that in prior times it was considered attractive to be overweight because it meant that you were rich and had access to food.
There you go. So that explains it. I mean, that's not what he is, but that explains why just whenever any man took off their shirt, if they're part of Russell's little band of marauders, they got quite a reaction. But so that's all I got.
I got a question for Diggins. And then Ed, we got to get your thoughts. But just a quick question, Diggins. Let's say that like we did your version where there's no Robin Hood and it's just about like King John or whatever. Who would you have to be? Who would you have the protagonist be, and would you recast them?
We make William Hurt as William Marshall, the Chancellor, who is ousted when Prince John becomes king, the protagonist, because he's the one trying to hold the realm together. Would I recast him? Well, he's played by William Hurt in this movie, who I am not super familiar with.
Well, I mean, did you like him in this movie?
Johnny Cash wrote that song about him.
I mean, he's fine. The character is not really very big in this movie. I would probably recast him to be a bigger star for this kind of movie. Who was like a older man, leading man type in those days?
They also have to be British, or it would help.
Charles Dance. Dance?
Nobody really cared how inconsistent Russell Crowe's accent was. So.
That's true. How about Sean Bean? Can we get Sean Bean in this movie?
Sean Bean. That would be good.
All of Game of Thrones.
There were quite a few times where I thought Russell Crowe was Sean Bean. I turned around and I started like not looking at my screen or something, and I was like, "Oh, Sean Bean's in this," but then no, it was Russell Crowe again. Fuck! Get out of here! Get that guy back who's not in the movie, who I like more.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this movie's just improved by most people. Like, by Robin Hood not being in it, and like anyone else being the focus. But yeah, that's just an aside. Nando, what did you think of this movie?
It's not good. It's long and it's boring, and it's about Robin Hood, so who cares? Like, it's the hard part about this movie is like it's about Robin Hood, and nothing happens that's interesting. It doesn't take any left or right turns. Besides, just like it doesn't take any turns away from Robin Hood.
Right.
It's always not about Robin Hood, but then it like. The gravity of Robin Hood pulls the plot back to being like, oh yeah, bow and arrow and steal the rich, give it to the poor. The king is part of it, and it's just like the movie would, be considerably more interesting if it wasn't about Robin Hood for sure, but also just like if it, took the Robin Hood legend and flipped it on its head or something, which like this movie doesn't seem capable of. But if it did. That would at least keep me entertained, kind of keep me guessing, but you just know it's going to end the way it does. And also, yeah, it's just kind of like all the other movies that are kind of like it. Like all the it's got like a very pre-Game of Thronesy Game of Thronesiness to it, but not in a good way, but just like it kind of feels like it. It feels like it's like a Netflix movie.
Well, back then we called that Lords of the Ringsiness.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But it's got the Lord of the Ringsiness of being shot in nature and all that. But it's got the Game of Thronesiness of like being in the world is dirty and like everyone's wearing brown and their face is all covered in dust. And like I think there were some choices this movie made that I was down for, mostly about I think Oscar Isaac was very good.
Okay.
I think the movie didn't want to be about him, but all the scenes where he had like some sort of moment were fun. And I think to answer DJ's question, I could just make a movie where he's the hero of the movie. Like King John is trying to hold the realm together because this weird dude is secretly a French spy, and he's trying to like get that guy back on track. And while all of this is going on, some fucking dude is stealing all the money from the kingdom. Oh my God, we got to get this Robin Hood fella. And like, geez, he's a vigilante who no one can trust. I think like that's not necessarily the best movie about Robin Hood that could be made. However, considering the cast, like I want a movie where Oscar Isaac is just like covered in like, you know, crowns and jewels and stuff, pacing around a room all the time, flipping over tables, being like, I'm had it with Godfrey and his bullshit, and I need to, and like talking to his girlfriend who's like a person from movies too, like another movie star. Like that's your movie. But I don't know.
That was honestly going to be like my second level suggestion, was to have like the Prince John tragedy.
Yeah.
Because I think I would totally be down for the counterfactual of Prince John did the best he could with a bad situation.
Absolutely.
Do you think
like,
that though?
That's a valid historical interpretation of what actually happened with Prince John and King Richard.
Okay.
And plus, like, Robin Hood can be kind of a dick. Like, I mean, he's not in this movie and, like, in stories, but the idea of some dude just, like, being like, you're putting too much taxes on us fine common folk. We're taxed enough already. And, like, King John being like, I have to do something, but I need to raise taxes to fight a war. And then, like, Robin Hood keeps taking the money away from the crown, and it's just, like, a lot, you know? I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
And you got the Sheriff of Nottingham, a character in this movie.
Yeah, have him be annoying,
true.
too, kind of screwing it up.
He's in like 3 whole scenes.
Yeah. You keep wondering when he's going to show up or do something. Because he's the Sheriff of Nottingham. 3rd build on the IMDb page, even though, like, one of the guys is Oscar Isaac. And he's 7th. You guys would never be able to guess the billing for this movie. Guess it. Here we go.
All right.
This is a new fun game.
I
I'm going to name an actor.
Okay.
Just at random.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me, these are all I'm going to only use the 10 actors in the first 10 spots.
Okay.
So I'll throw out, this does not count Leah Seydoux, who is very low on this. Also doesn't count Kevin Durant, who plays Little John, or Scott Grimes, who plays Will Scarlet. But the other 10 actors. How about this? Where is Russell Crowe on this list?
Oh, number 1.
Number 1.
He is number 1. Where is Mark Addy, who plays Friar Tuck?
Number 7.
Number 5.
Number 10. So I want to give you the 1 and the 10. All right, now let's have some fun. Where is Mark Strong?
4.
3.
6.
What?
Where is Danny Houston?
Who is that?
King Richard the Lionheart.
God, like 8th?
3rd.
8.
Yeah,
Where
me.
Yeah, right. Where is Oscar Isaac?
6th.
God. 5.
It's 7. Didn't I just say he was 7th in the thing?
Wait.
Either way.
Right.
How about Cate Blanchett? Where's she in this?
2nd.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, she is 2nd build.
That feels like an easy one, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's crazy to me that William Hurt, Mark Strong, Mac von Sydow are billed above Oscar Isaac as Prince John in this movie. I could see
Oscar
Mark
Isaac
Strong
was
because
not
he's
a big star at the time, was he?
Yeah, but like, how much is like William Hurt really in this movie compared to the Prince John like figure, who is clearly like, you know, the big bad kind of the movie? He's just.
Yeah, but billing is always very subject to, you know, the vagaries of fame.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
That's why, like, Cate Blanchett, too, that makes sense. Because she is so famous. Even though, like, Maid Marian, I mean, she's this, again, well, I don't want to short sell it.
Well,
like,
I mean, she's in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fair, her being 2nd is fair. If I had to pick, I think I'd go Russell Crowe, Cate Blanchett, Mark Strong, Max von Sydow, Oscar Isaac, Leah Seydoux. That would be my 6.
Okay.
Sheriff of Nottingham would be nowhere to be found.
12? Yeah, right? Like,
yeah, like
not present.
You'd have a hard time. He would be listed as sheriff, and you wouldn't even know who he is.
Yeah,
because he makes no impact on the script. I don't know, man. What do we have to talk about this movie? The movie's not very good.
See, I like, we do, right, okay, so we have to talk about what happens in the movie, which is like stuff. Yeah, do we though? Indeed, I agree. Hour-long podcast. Give some time back to the listeners.
Yeah, and to us.
All right, let's get some Rex.
All right.
Go play some Apex.
Yeah, I don't know. What is the movie? I mean, okay, so the movie starts with war. Whoa.
War. What is
War
it good
never
for?
changes.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes, they all have war
Wow,
horses,
that is
like in the movie
that is
War Horse.
so not the beat of that song.
What? What are you talking
We couldn't
about?
afford it, Diggins. What do you want us to get sued by those guys, whoever they are?
The
war men?
Temptations?
Yeah. The Temptations.
Wait, what am I doing? Wait, what am I doing? Hold on.
I mean, I don't know who it is, but I know it's not the Temptations.
It's the something. God damn it, I'm the worst.
You know what, though? It's not super I guess, it's Edwin Starr. I don't know who the fuck that is, but...
Wait, what am I...
Oh, no, you're right. The Temptations wrote this song.
Oh, apologize
Oh
to me.
my God.
Everyone
I have
apologize to me
taken the
right
biggest
now.
L. I'm
right
so
now.
sorry.
Right now. You all apologize.
I apologize.
Diggins
The War
apologize.
was written
You
by
laughed too.
Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong for the Motown label, 1969. Wow. The Temptations.
Because I saw that play.
Okay.
Oh.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, what?
It is
What?
a song by the Temptations. However, the famous version that everyone knows is by Edwin Starr.
But also, so the Temptations. Is this the most famous Temptations song?
No, there's the oh god, I just sound like an idiot right now because I'm going on the fucking pod. It's this song. It's like
I mean, there's other Temptation, but I'm saying war. What is it good for? If you go across the world, I feel like people will be like, oh yeah, they know the words to that song. Like everybody knows that song.
no, it's their most favorite song is My Girl. That's their easily most famous song.
That's true.
It's definitely Edwin
toss-up.
Starr's most famous song.
That's fair. I'm surprised. Wow. Okay, so DJ, I will defer to you.
Wait, what?
What is this movie about? War?
Yes, actually, I think it is.
Okay, very good.
What is it saying about war, DJ?
Foreigners are bad, and if you're mad enough at your king, we should all kill each other no matter what invaders are coming. JK, we'll just get over that, and we promise our king to be nice, and then we'll band together to fight the invaders. Is that did I get it close at least?
It sounds like something people would say.
I mean, I was not asking you pop quiz. I was asking you DJ, what is this movie saying about war? Because as far as I can tell, it's nothing.
I'm going to go with what I said. Immigrants are bad, and sometimes put aside your differences to kill immigrants. I guess that's what we should land on. Although, to be fair, those immigrants who are coming weren't let us in for asylum purposes. It's we want to kill you because you're English, and we hear you're having a civil war. So, maybe you should kill those people who are trying to actually invade your country. I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Dude, good point. You're making great points.
So, okay. See, it's weird, how to talk about this movie, because, the movie's split into, I'd say, about 7 arcs. Arc 1. Robin Hood is at war with friends, and we get to see how that goes on, and simultaneously, King Richard's having, an existential crisis, I guess? Right?
King Richard's nobody likes me, and his right-hand man, Sir Robert Locksley, is they love you. And he's I don't think that's true. And then he asks Robin Hood, can you tell me if you like me or not? And Robin Hood says, well, sir, you asked me for honesty, so I'll say no. And the King's cool, I'm going to put you to death.
Yeah.
Is that fucked up?
Real mixed messages.
The King sucks.
I was so surprised when I was oh, the King's cool. He's just hanging with his boys. And then, he'll hear Robin Hood out. And then he's nah, son, you should die. And I'm wow, this King fucking sucks. So
I actually kind of appreciated at the start this movie willing to go the King Richard actually kind of sucked route because he did.
Right.
Yeah, that was interesting. Except, movie didn't have too much to say about it.
It kind of just lost interest and then went with the regular narrative, which is Richard was the good king who kept things together, and John is the bad king.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Was Richard a good king? I'm not convinced.
I mean,
He
Robin
wasn't.
Hood didn't think so. Not a big fan.
He seemed like he might have sucked.
I mean, okay, it depends. What are your metrics for being a good king? Are your metrics for being a good king
Killing the French.
Killing the French, killing people who are not Christians, and generally publicly upholding the ideals of chivalry? Then,
all three.
Richard was a pretty good king.
Okay.
If your idea of a good king is left his country in a better place than he found it, then the answer is absolutely not.
So, okay, fair enough. I got you there. So, but yeah, the movie does nothing with, like, the kind of king that King Richard is, and the fact that, John sucks. So, right, Arc 1, so Robin Hood is gonna die, but hey, we get a sweet Deus Ex Machina of, I don't know, fucking, there's an attack. This movie's so hard to remember the flow.
At the beginning of the movie, and here is the first of its many historical inaccuracies. At the beginning of the movie, Richard and his army are returning from the Crusades, and they are doing so by traveling through French land, like sacking castles and such as they go for riches.
Like you do.
Mm-hmm. This is not accurate. By this point in time, Richard had long ago returned from the Crusades, and he was fighting an entirely separate war with the French.
Okay, cool.
However,
the English and the French, best of friends.
It is the case that King Richard died by getting shot with an arrow during a battle in France. That is true.
My dude has to be behind the lines. What is he doing? Like, what? Are you crazy, bro? Like, what are you doing? Why are you so close?
This is one of those points where I would say one can more plainly see the difference between being a good chivalrous exemplar of medieval ideals and being a good king. Whereas being a good king would be not exposing yourself to stupid random deaths that upend your entire country for no reason.
Yeah, you idiot.
Very Game of Thronesy, you know?
I mean, depending on which guy, right?
Well, the Robert Baratheon.
Right, Robert Baratheon. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, how random of a death was it when, he had the arrows out for him, metaphorically, but the idea of a king's death messing it all up.
Right.
Leaving your Sean Bean type to pick up the pieces.
So so luckily that allows Robin and his buddies to like get free. You know what's the problem with this movie is? There's too much shit going on at once. In terms of like it has the too many villains problem, because at the same time you have to worry about Mark Strong, who this guy I can't remember. You got to worry about
Sir Godfrey.
Yeah, Godfrey. You got to worry about Godfrey. You got to worry about the French king. You got to worry about my goodness, Sheriff of Nottingham and John. And,
do you?
Well, okay, fine. And John and the barons. It's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Well, all right. I think the thing, because we're not gonna, we'll spoil the spoily parts of the movie, obviously, because it's not worth watching. Can either of you describe what's going on with Godfrey? What's his deal? Because I feel like this is the thing that I wish I had known going into the movie. Just kind of what to expect with this one.
Well, it sounds like
what's the worst.
Based on nothing but having watched the movie, because Sir Godfrey is not a historical character, but entirely an invention of the film, that he is a French knight who was raised in England alongside, the royalty, because he says he was, raised alongside Prince John, and they're good friends, but ultimately feels more loyal to the French crown.
Yeah, real jabroni, this one.
So here's a thing that this movie elides, but makes the whole Sir Godfrey plotline make a lot more sense, which is the royalty of England at this time were basically French people. I mean, this was only 100 or so years after William the Conqueror came from Normandy and conquered England. Obviously, being from Normandy, he was a Frenchman.
Obviously, we all know
him
that.
in his royal line tended to marry other Frenchmen.
Yep.
And at this point, the Angevin line had taken over. Richard and John are Angevin, which are a line of French nobility. And in fact, the reason for the conflicts between France and England at this time is, along with their crown of England, they took their lands in France, which was a substantial portion of France that now belonged to the English crown, and the French were not happy about that.
Yeah, it's a real jabroni move.
So when you think of it that way, it makes a lot of sense that this French knight was raised alongside English royalty, because the English royalty are also French.
So Mark Strong's correct. He's the good guy.
I mean, it makes it a more interesting question about, like, what do national borders even mean? And, like, to whom should you have your loyalty and why? But the movie is not interested in that and just pretends that Richard and John are totally English and that there's no English lands in France right now. So it just ends up being kind of weird.
Is there anything this movie is interested in telling? I feel like it's like not.
It ends. I want to say the thing it's interested in telling, but it's such a fucking buck wild twist that I don't want to spoil it until we get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, man. So
we're lost in the wilderness with this movie, man. It's so bananas.
But you see, the other thing about Godfrey, which is very important, is he is mean. He is not nice. He is bad.
Yes. He is willing to do big murders and big betrayals for the French king, which makes him bad.
That's right.
Yeah.
For seemingly no... We spend zero time on Godfrey's interiority. It's basically like we get told he is French, and that is the whole motivation for everything he does in the entire movie.
Yeah. I mean, he is French, but also he is Mark Strong. That was important context in the time.
Yeah, a person
Mark
I
Strong,
like.
He's your classic bad guy. He's a villain, all about the Green Lanterns and such. You can't trust him.
All about singing Country Roads and then blowing up in a disappointing sequel.
The worst movie I've ever seen twice.
Did you mean
also, he's in
Shazam?
Kick-Ass. Also, he's in Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah,
He's in
and
all
also
kinds of
being
stuff.
one of the worst villains in a superhero movie of all time.
Wait, which one?
He's the villain in Shazam.
Yeah.
Oh! I thought you were talking about Green Lantern. He is not the worst. Well, sure, whatever you
I
say.
said one
Also,
of. I said one of. I didn't say the worst.
also, he's in fucking Stardust, but he's not the bad guy in that. He's a complicated figure. Well, he's kind of bad.
Who is he? Who is he in Stardust?
Septimus.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. I'd say complicated
Better
figure
than
is the
this.
right term. Oh yeah, Stardust is
Yeah.
a way better movie than this.
Way better than this. None of the same guys besides him, though. Which maybe that's where they made the mistake. They should have cast a Henry Cavill type to play Robin Hood instead, who was also in that movie. Before he was a big giant muscle man. Okay, so that's the deal with Godfrey. He is mean and he is French.
Yep,
and
that's
the
all you need
English
to
are the
know.
main guys, so he being French is bad. What's the deal, DJ, with
Yeah.
Robin Blank?
Okay. So Robin whoever. So I think the important part to start for him, right, is like he gets out of war and he basically runs up on a bunch of knights who were ambushed by Godfrey. After King Richard was dead, and they were killed rather, and they were transporting his crown, and they're transporting his crown. Now Robin Longsley is actually a knight of one of Richard.
Robert Locksley.
Robert Locksley was one of the knights that they found upon, and Robin Blank is like, I'm gonna impersonate you now. I'm gonna pretend to be you because it's good for me, because then I can get home. Because all these guys want to do is go home. That's their whole arc. And I'm like, okay, I can understand this at least. It's not confusing, at least. They just want to go home.
Yeah, I want to go home from watching this movie to not watching it, you know?
So it's like, all right.
Also, it's Robin Longstride.
Right.
Is that a thing? Is that from stuff? Never heard that
No,
name before in
they
Robin
just-
Hood things, I think.
They just made that up. That's not
Okay,
a thing
cool.
from anything.
Very good.
So, yes, they're like, we'll pretend to be knights because people don't know who knights are. You just dress like a knight, and then you're a knight. This is
Makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
convinced. Yeah.
So they're like, we'll just pretend to be knights, and then we'll get to go home. So that's their fucking plan.
Honestly, I was fully like, this all makes sense at this point.
Honestly,
In
yeah, it
terms
hasn't
of-
got...
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
gone
you
off
put
the
on
rails.
knight's clothes, you say you're knights, you're not actually planning any betrayal, you just want a free ride home. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and like a bunch of knights died and stuff. So there's room to spare in knightliness. Easily going to be some empty seats on the night bus home.
But a wrinkle here is Sir Robert Locksley, the king's right-hand man, who was transporting the crown, lays dying after the ambush by the French, but has not yet died. And he asks Robin to bring his sword back to his father in Nottingham, because he took the sword without his father's permission when he left to join the Crusades.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. But also, father's blind, so who cares, you know?
Well, was he blind 10 years ago? I don't think that's ever made clear.
That's a good point.
Because he says he's 84 in this movie, so I mean, 84 in medieval times, it's not impossible, but like, you're going to be pretty gosh darn sick at that point.
Yeah, and he's very old now that I think about it for olden days. But it is important because not only is Robin taking this guy's sword and stuff, but he also has his dudes. Can we describe his dudes?
Oh, yeah, his dudes. People I definitely remember from this movie and was not like, who are you?
You call one, very important.
There's three fellows. There were four, but one of them dies. Then they have this scene with Robert Locksley, and then they bury the dude who died without ever actually mourning him in any capacity.
I forgot about that. Yeah, and it's like, he's like, oh, let him into heaven, unless if you let him. Like, that's one of those lines, and I'm like, aw. But anyway, yeah, that guy is a member of the crew. However, the other three, the three that survive...
The other three that are in the rest of the movie are two fellow archers who were with Robin in the basically the common infantry. So not nobility, not knights. At the time, archers were, while an important part of tactical warfare in Western Europe like this, were considered like the most expendable, like whatever dudes in an army. Like no one gave a shit about them.
Fair.
But there's his pals, Will Scarlet, and Alan Adoyle, or Alan Adale. Alan Adale.
How would you, if you have never met Will Scarlet before, how would you point him out in a crowd? What's his defining feature?
I would say he's the only person in the entire movie with red hair.
Yep. It took me a second to like put that together. I don't think that's traditionally his thing, but sure, whatever.
Right.
He's got red hair in this.
Alan Adale, and if you ask me what his defining characteristic is, I would say he doesn't have one.
He's the third. He's 1, 2, and 3, and the other one is tall and redhead. So
I guess he's the one who sings sometimes.
Yeah. Now I don't know too much about these characters in other mythology, so the fact that I even recognize the name Will Scarlet is a lot. I'd have never heard this Alan Adale fellow before, but I don't know. Maybe he's in there.
He is like traditional part of the Merry Men. I don't know what his thing is in the typical stories.
What did you call them? It's Merry Men.
I speak, of course, of the legend of Robin Hood. It's Robin Hood and his Merry Men. Don't get it twisted. Such a phrase is never uttered in this entire movie.
Oh, is it? I think it is at one point, very briefly or something.
Maybe at one point Marion calls them that derisively. I don't know.
No, so here's when I think it happens, just because I want to get this out of the way for people that are like, do they ever call them Merry Men? I'm pretty sure when they robbed the first group, not the first group, the only group of guys, they're like, you stole our coin. Does that make you merry?
Oh, God.
And they're like, we are merry men, but only for coin or seed or whatever. I don't know.
That's
something like that.
That's like early 2000s superhero movie using the superhero name once levels of energy.
Yeah, it's rough. But this is where that was the first bit where I was like, oh, okay, I see. This isn't Robin Hood, is it? You guys are just checking off boxes.
And then the third fellow is a foot soldier who accuses Robin of cheating at a cup and ball game.
Yes.
And they get in a fight, but then because they fight, they respect each other, and he joins the band.
Big old strong man.
And that is one of the three Robin Hood characters that probably most people could name, Little John.
Yeah.
He's the one that's a bear in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. He's the one who's basically Baloo.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the guy that was the Blob in the X-Men movie, the one they did Blob in, and he's fine. It was on Lost, too. I think that's where I kind of remember him from.
Ooh, Lost 2. Was it better than Lost 1?
Nope. Still, they still hadn't figured it out.
Damn.
They were just like, what's this Lost? Wait, how long do you think it's going to be, though, until they reboot Lost? Probably not that long.
No, we'll get it within, before 2023, I'd say.
Right?
Yeah.
Ugh. But, yeah, so those are the merry men. And they go to the king. And they're
the
like...
new king, yep. They're like, hey, here's the old king's crown, new king. Be nice to us. And King...
Here's the old king's crown, which is his battle helmet that has a crown worked into the design, which is totally not an actual royal crown that anyone would have used.
Yeah.
And please be nice. And he's like, nah, I'm going to be a dick.
Well, for a second, he's like, oh, thank you so much. You're the best. Here, have a fancy ring. And then he's like, wait a second. You're of Loxley. You're from Nottingham. You owe me money. No ring for you.
Yeah,
And
he's kind of a dick, but only in a way where he's just like comes off as mean and not in a way that actually inconveniences Robin in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Right.
Robin takes this personally, kind of. Or, like, he doesn't, because the movie doesn't care. But in a better movie, this would be some interesting thing where it would have an effect on the story. But it's almost just like, yeah, you know, taxes and stuff. I'm Prince John. Me and you, Robin Hood, we don't get along. See ya in Robin Hood 2. Maybe then. I mean, I guess they have their moment in this movie, but like, that's not really gonna be a big part of this one.
Yeah, it's pretty bullshit how this movie just tries to put villains in, but there's no real payoff. Because, like, even with the, I already forgot Mark Strong's character's name, it's so bad.
Godfrey,
duh. How can I keep forgetting Godfrey? His thing with Robin Hood is so short-lived. Like, Robin Hood shoots him once, gives him a little scar, and then Robin Hood just kind of kills him at the end of the movie. There's nothing interesting.
Here's a question.
With Godfrey?
Does Robin, at the end there, does Robin even know who Godfrey is?
Define know who Godfrey is.
Yeah.
It's like, that's that dude who I saw earlier who ambushed Loxley and killed him. Sir Godfrey.
He knows that Godfrey doesn't like him. Cate Blanchett
Does he?
knows. Well, I think he knows that he doesn't like the guy that gave him the scar. But, like, that doesn't matter, really. I think Cate Blanchett knows that he killed her dad. And then Robin Hood knows at the end of the fight that Godfrey knocks Cate Blanchett off of her horse. And he's like, I have to kill this man. Because he did this to my wife person.
My
but
fake wife who's turning
it.
into my real wife?
Yeah, because I'm a man of the people who knows the strength of a piece of wood that I can use for hitting, so I can save a donkey or a ram or whatever.
And my fucking abs.
Yeah,
fucking
I've got it
abs.
all. Total package.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I think they kind of know each other, kind of, almost like it's like a coincidence. It's like crazy stupid love. They'll just meet at the end and start fighting. It's like your plot and my plot are the same plot. Get out. And yes, that's Godfrey's deal. What's the deal with Mary? We just kind of mentioned her, played by Cate Blanchett. She's fine in this.
Yeah. Well,
Not a maid.
you know what?
That's true.
In this one, she's Widow Marion.
Yeah. Well, because you know how it goes, right? Your husband goes off to war, and someone makes a blood oath with your husband after he dies to deliver his sword to his father. And then that guy's like, you're married to the widow. It's you now.
And then that guy's like, pretend to be my son, which means you're married to my daughter-in-law. So, you know, consider that a perk.
Yeah, I mean, she's not, it's not wrong. She seems nice.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got some edges to her.
She's not down with this plan. She's like, this kind of sucks, Dad.
No, yeah.
You know, maybe not.
And also,
And he's like, it's fine.
And also, oh my god, I forgot about this. You guys remember, I don't know if it's her first scene, but remember the scene with her in the woods?
With the
woods
kids?
people?
The zombie kids?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the first scene of the movie, actually.
It is, right? Okay, cool, yeah. So, yeah, she's...
What an introduction.
She's doing her laundry or whatever, something in the woods, doing woodly things. and she's ambushed by little leather faces.
Zombies.
And it turns out-
They're zombies. They're basically
yeah,
zombies.
pretty much. Like an army of them, and then it turns out they're kids from around, like, the area.
Yeah.
And she recognizes all of them under their masks.
Dude, her plan, she
and
shoots
you're like,
sorry.
you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she shoots a fire arrow at them to, like, I don't know why, and she could have set, like, the barn on fire. Like, that was a very bad idea to shoot a fire arrow just near a lot of flammable stuff. Could have taken all the animals and everything. It was a very bad move by her. Just don't do that. I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
Maybe she was trying to get rid of it, you know? Maybe she's tired of this life she lives, waiting for a husband who will never come home, you know?
Burn it for the insurance money.
Being ambushed by little forest children. Like, fuck this, dude. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to France. It's probably nice there, you know? I'm the Cate Blanchett type. I'll do okay.
I was going to say that that you see this scene and you're like, so in like a Peter Pan-ish direction, we have this army of lost boys that will be recruited to fill out the ranks of the merry men later, right?
Yep.
And the answer is, I mean, yeah, but not in this movie.
That's the sequel, right? Post-credits scene, am I right?
Dude, yeah. I mean, so Dickens, you haven't seen it, but the Taron Egerton movie also ends where in the end Robin Hood does arrow to like a poster of him, and he's like, I'm Robin Hood now. There's a Robin Hood. I've made a group of guys in the woods. Come find me. And like it's Robin Hood now. But it does the same exact bullshit where the movie doesn't want to be Robin Hood until the very end.
Or the next movie, right? I feel like
it doesn't. I wouldn't say it doesn't say Robin Hood until like the end. I think it does at the end of this one as well. Right?
I think you're right.
I think they say it. And I think they say it at the end of the other one too. 'Cause the other one they call
think-
the Hood.
Yeah.
I don't
Robin,
think they ever say
Longstrider
Robin
or
Hood.
the Hood. I think they say the Hood. Robin Longstrider, or like also the Hood. It's
maybe
like
that's what it is. But they put Robin and Hood together in this. And in the other one, his Hood is his superhero name.
Yeah.
But then later he is outed as Robin Loxley. And then I think at the end they're like, you got to get me this Robin Hood. And then it's like...
They really emphasize
Jesus
it like
Christ.
Robin Hood. It's so sad.
Do you get it?
I mean, it's tough because you want to make it a superhero movie, right? Because that's what movies are now. And Robin Hood is both his superhero movie or superhero name and his first name, kind of. Like, it's close enough that it wouldn't really work. So, what are you going to do? Well, I guess he's the Hood. And then later, you figure out that he's Robin Hood, Hoodman Robin. But
not to be confused with Boys in the Hood. That's a totally different thing.
Oh, my God. They could have been in the sequel. That'd be fun. You know, crossover?
Yeah.
That would have been something exciting. Instead, they ruined it. And they didn't get to the sequel where they crossed over with the Boys in the Hood verse. What else? So we got Cate Blanchett. Yeah, she doesn't want to be the wife of what's his name?
Can you blame her? She's getting a real raw deal here. Like...
I mean, like...
Yeah.
It seems like a good life for being married away, not great, but she seems like she's doing okay, considering... when they go for that ride in the village and it's like everybody's poor. It sucks.
But like you learn that your husband's widowed and now it's like new husband. It's like, fuck that, dog. What are you, crazy? I'm not doing this.
But
Wait,
look,
so I have to pretend to be married to the random dude who came here and told us that my husband's dead?
Right?
Yeah. They had his sword,
Like-
so he's cool.
Well, also, he introduces himself as Robin Longstride, and Walter Loxley, Robert's father, is like, oh, are you pulling a jest on me?
Yeah.
And then Robin's like, do you know something about my past? And he's like, oh, I'll tell you all about your past, Robin Longstride, but you gotta pretend to be my son.
Whose accent are we doing here?
Yeah, what's this now?
This is Max von
I'm
Sydow's
just-
character?
I'm just doing a bunch of really bad English accents that have no
Okay.
real bearing on the characters involved.
Gotcha.
Eliza Doolittle, maybe her father from My Fair Lady. You know, that's kind of what he's like. He's very uncultured kind, or more of a Michael Caine type. I
knew he was going to show up. I could hear it in that sentence before he showed up.
Michael Caine, why aren't you in this movie?
I need you to
Why aren't you?
pretend.
This seems like the kind of paycheck you'd be in today if we made this today.
I need you to pretend to be my son. It's very important. I never had a son. I mean, I did, but he died. So it's very important that you don't pretend to be my son.
It's Austin Powers. He's a man of mystery, just like you. My son, I don't love, or something. I don't know. The third one of those is funny. But this one's not funny, but it kind of gets funny in the middle where the Merry Men, okay, a couple things. Do the segment nice things. I think the Merry Men are okay. I think they're kind of funny when they're just merry menning around.
Yeah, which isn't a lot of times, unfortunately. Like,
no, not enough at all.
Limited exposure.
Basically, this one scene in the middle when they meet Friar Tuck. That's about it.
That's about it. Yeah, that's all we get.
Oh
of
yeah,
the
God,
Merry Men.
Friar Tuck. Can you? I mean, okay. What is Friar Tuck in this? Where is this, Diggins? Is there any precedent whatsoever for beekeeping in the friars and like bee bombs and stuff?
So actually, yes, it was very common for monasteries and abbeys to keep bees because the what is it? It's like the vines and such, or not vines. Basically, they were like good areas for it, and they were frequently used to create mead.
I did like that.
That is
Come try our
actually
honey wine.
entirely accurate. The thing to understand is that consumption of alcohol was not generally considered a sin in the Catholic Church at this time.
Yeah.
Like, you could drink and it was fine.
Was it ever considered a sin?
I mean, like, you know.
Well, I mean, like nowadays, excess consumption of alcohol is considered not great.
Sure.
Just by the culture in general. And so, the idea of a religious person doesn't have to not drink, but shouldn't indulge too much. But like back then, it was like, whatever, man. You can drink.
Crazy,
Well,
Go
what are
nuts.
the quality? Oh, sorry.
No, nothing. I was just saying.
I was just going to ask, what are the qualities of Friar Tuck, just as a plain old character? You got a movie, there's a Friar Tuck in it. What's his deal?
I would say usually he's like he's kind of like a bad priest, but like a moral compass for the merry men.
Yeah, I feel like that tracks. I mean, not in this movie, in general.
No, not in this movie, but like that's his usual role.
I don't know what he's supposed to be in this movie.
He's barely in this. Like, I honestly forgot until I saw him on the IMDb summary that he's part of it at all.
He does real well with the bees at the end.
He does an amazing thing with
Can you
the
imagine
bees.
dying like that? Just bees, like, just thrown on you? Oh, my God.
Honestly,
Horrible way to die.
He is the impetus for the only robbery they do in the entire movie.
Oh, that's true.
Yep, that's right.
Which would a man of the cloth be cool with, Or I guess not cool with, because he obviously
Well,
is, but would he instigate it?
That's him. He's your like. I think that's right. I wanted to make sure of this because Tim Minchin in the Taron Egerton one is the same kind of guy. Where in that movie he has more of an arc where it's like, the church is bad. I have to be something new.
Yes.
Whereas this, it's not quite that, but it's still like, I'm a good guy and I'm part of the church. But they, they're not always right about everything.
Yeah, because they suck. So
Yeah, I mean, this movie, like in that movie, in the Taron Egerton one, the church, like the Pope or Bishop or whatever is like the big villain. Where in this, it's not. That's not really a thing. So there's no way to really connect him to the plot besides just he's also there.
Yeah, doesn't Friar Tuck get like stripped of his friarness or whatever in that movie? And
he's odd. Like I hate his character in that movie, but that's kind of what his deal is he's just there to be around the villains and be like, we shouldn't be doing this then. It's bad to, to steal from the poor. And it's like, no, you're wrong.
There are no merry men in the Taron Egerton one, if I'm correct, right?
it's.
I mean, Little John is Little John, but that's it. Yeah, he gets like a following of the people who all put on silly hoods like him.
Yeah.
Is it like the second season of Riverdale where Archie accidentally starts a fascist paramilitary group?
Yeah, honestly, the little like football guys with no shirts on in the little video. I love Riverdale. Was so bad.
It's still going, baby.
I'm sure. I know there's a time jump now or something. They're making a lot of moves. Okay, so then the plot kind of starts going. I mean, like, we're halfway through the movie right now. Things are...
Somehow. It takes like an hour for something to get going. It's crazy.
I was like, while I was watching it, I was like, we're more than halfway through the movie before he robs a dude, not realizing that was the only time it was going to happen in the entire movie.
Right? For why, though, movie? For why?
I feel like when the part of the movie that is the, I don't want to say like the end of the movie, because the end is just, it just keeps going. But when you kind of know that this movie is headed towards two endings. One is that he goes and does like Robin Hoodery. And then the other one is some sort of war, something or other, showdown with Godfrey. And it does the second one, like, that's most of the ending, and then all the stuff leading up to that is Robin Hoodery. But it doesn't really have anything to do with Robin Hood except for endearing him to Maid Marian and the people. He loves the people.
Yeah. Oh, so much.
Yeah, I really have to emphasize again, we're mostly talking about the Robin Hood stuff here because the movie is Robin Hood, but this is a small fraction of the movie. The rest of the movie and like the plot going on is all the stuff with John and Godfrey and William Marshall and all them, and it has absolutely 0% fuck all to do with any of the Robin Hood stuff. It is not related in any way, shape, or form, other than Robin shot an arrow at Godfrey that one time, and Godfrey is kind of mad about it, but it's not really his focus.
Did he know it was him? Did he know Robin Hood or Robin Longstrider shot him with the arrow?
I don't think he did, because he sends a dude after Robin, but it's just because, like, I know we killed Robert Locksley, so that's not him, so we should get rid of that guy, because he probably knows something.
Because he, and then Godfrey also ends up at the Locksley Manor to go, and he has his weird little duel with Max von Sydow.
Oh, yeah.
Where all that murder stuff happens.
But he only does that because his dude comes back and is like, oh, that Robert Locksley guy, the guy who's pretending to be Robert Locksley is here. And he's like, so we should go there next on our killing spree that is trying to incite the barons to revolt.
That's right. His dude. Who is that?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to. I forgot.
I don't even know what the
that
character
guy.
is named. So like, I don't even know what I would
guy
look
or
up.
something. Is that it can't be, is that Robert Baldwin? No, that's not him. Who is that? Because he has a goon that he goes and does stuff.
I barely remember this guy.
Belvedere,
I have no
is that
idea.
right?
I don't know. It would be some French name, I would think, right?
You would think so. And I think you're right, but this guy also, I'm pretty sure it's Velbert Topik or something. It's from Yugoslavia, so I don't know.
Is it Adamar?
Oh, no. This one is, gosh.
That would
no,
be
my name is Belvedere.
Denis Menochet?
Oh, no. Are you in the movie, or are you just going through people in the thing? Like,
I'm just going through the cast list.
I'll send you the picture of this guy. I think it's partially because he's bald, but I think it's the same guy. I think it's, anyway, yeah, he has a dude who's, like, on fact-finding mission to go get, or not fact-finding mission. Well, what's he doing?
So
the goon?
I guess he's like going around because they're. So this is. Can I go into why Godfrey's plan doesn't make any sense? Because we're talking about Godfrey's plan right now. So Godfrey's plan is, well, he was supposed to kill King Richard, but it turns out King Richard got himself killed, so he doesn't have to do anything there. But then, because he's good friends with Prince John, he's supposed to, like, ingratiate himself with the king, which he does successfully. He gets appointed chancellor, which is a very important, advisory role to the king. And as any player of Crusader Kings 3 can tell you, if you have a disloyal courtier serving on your council, that's bad news for you.
You goddamn right. You die. You will die.
Yeah, they're going to plot against you, and you're going to get a snake's going to be set loose in your bedroom, and you're going to die.
It's real things.
So far his plan is going great. He just got put into one of the highest positions of power in the entire kingdom as a secret French agent, and he's in the perfect position to give John a bunch of bad advice that he'll trust because they're friends, and generally ruin the realm, which he starts doing. He's like, you should collect all the tax, sir. They owe you the tax, and they're all very rich, and they're just claiming poverty. So you should squeeze every last drop of golden corn out of them. And you're like, wow, that's some great bad advice. And then he leaves London, gets a French army of French-speaking people who don't know English, or when they do speak English, speak it very heavily accented and are obviously French, and uses that as his tax-collecting army, claiming he's acting under orders of Prince John. Now, it seems to me like it would be very easy for him, as the Chancellor of the Realm and trusted advisor to Prince John, to have actual English armies sent to do this. And, then later, when someone goes, that was a plot by the French king, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Everyone who did this was English, you idiot. What do you mean the French king did it? You did it. But instead, he does it entirely with secret French troops that he has met up with who have crossed the channel, so that later, when everyone's like, it was the French king who did it, all the barons like, I did think it was suspicious how every single person involved in this was French. It's baffling.
It would legit be like if, you got a call from, the Mexican government being like, yeah, you back owe taxes to the IRS. And be like, wait, are you sure you guys are supposed to be? Yeah, us. The Mexican government's going to make sure that you pay your back taxes to the IRS. Trust us.
Now, again, if one were to play up the fact that the nobility, or a large portion of the royalty at this time is French, while the local landholders, the barons and such, would generally be Anglo-Saxon or English, as you prefer. And that causes tensions between them, were one to play on that historical fact, then this would make sense as a way to stir up resentment against French overlords. But they're not doing that, so it's just stupid.
And then,
also during this scene of him giving him bad advice, while he's in court, his new queen, King John's new queen, who is the niece of the French king, a fact that never really matters in the entire movie, but is true. So I guess that's why they included it. She speaks French at one point, and everyone looks at her like, this is a sign of how little John respects our English traditions, when they'd all be speaking French at the time. All of them. It was the language of courtliness. Even if you weren't French, you'd probably be speaking French because it's the language all the nobility would know.
Yeah, you fucks.
But what about xenophobia, though? How would that be? How would we? What's the shorthand for xenophobia?
Obviously, this is all playing on modern day English nationalism, but it's just, again, these historical inaccuracies would not bother me if this movie was not trying to be a historical epic.
Yeah, I get that. Also, who goes into her son's room while he's having sex? It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fucked
with
up.
his mistress.
This probably happens all the time with him.
Yeah. It's way too
Eleanor of
common
Aquitaine, by the way, also French. Literally in her name is the fact that she's from Aquitaine, a southern region of France.
Oh, yeah. We forgot about her. Describe her, DJ.
Oh, God. Well, she's John's mother. And, she doesn't like that John's being a big old piece of shit. And who could blame her? Because John's being a big old piece of shit. So, yeah, it's like, you need to be a better guy. You're acting like an asshole. Stop it. She has a lot of screen time in the beginning of the movie and then kind of drops off. I don't know why we spent so much time on her early in the movie, to be honest.
Well, now, she is
another
actually
red herring for what the plot is.
She is actually a figure of great historical interest, and is the reason why the English crown at this time owns vast tracts of land in southern France, because her father had no sons, and so his land was inherited by his grandson, King Richard the Lionheart.
Oh, I did not know that.
So, in addition to their lands in northern France because of William the Conqueror, the English also own a bunch of lands in southern France because of Eleanor of Aquitaine.
How about that?
Which, again, a big key point of this movie is that they're going to be invaded by the French across the Channel, when the French don't need to do that. There's a bunch of English land in France that they could be invading.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is a good point, Diggins.
They shouldn't make this movie if they don't know the things that they're doing, but it's never stopped them before, I guess.
I was gonna say, like, Diggins, you said that this movie's trying to be like a historical epic. Do you think it's trying to do that?
I mean, what else is it trying to do?
To present as that.
I don't know, be an edgy Robin Hood movie.
Is it trying to be that, considering how little Robin Hood is in this movie?
That's fair.
I think it's trying to use. It's trading on the historicaliness and thinks that will make it edgy Robin Hood to us. I think you're right. I think they're like, oh man, you know, it'll be a really cool, gritty one everyone likes will be when we make the real Robin. We'll tell the real history. We'll put all the real names and stuff. People will love that. Yeah, because I think I'm not positive about this because I'm trying to think of when this movement was, but I do think there's a movement in like the 2000s, 2010s, so it could like link up with this where that was how you made things cool, was like making a realistic man and like people, you know, dress like they would. You can't be silly, you have to be cool and tough. But I can't think of a good example besides like, but I don't think Lord of the Rings is that. I think it's Game of Thrones, but I think this is before Game of Thrones, so I don't know what that was, but I think there was some version of that.
By the way, I'm looking at this Velibor Topic's IMDb page, the one you think is the henchman guy, and like every other credit of his is like henchman, goon, big goon.
Oh man, he's a type,
him, man.
He's a type.
Yeah,
he's a type.
Damn.
Hey, listen, you know, you find your niche and you fill it.
And he was quite a goon in this.
Yeah, Hollywood is in constant need of goons, so it's a good niche to fill.
And his character died a goon's death, if there ever was one. Killed by a non-main but important, or killed by not the main character, but what if they're friends? To show that the friend is cool like the main character. Oh my god. Okay, so let's talk about the end of the movie because we're pretty much there. Right, this guy shows up. The goon shows up, and he tells Godfrey, "Go get the." Oh, sorry. Well, did we talk about how Léa Seydoux and Oscar Isaac have like the mom's like, "You have to tell him about Godfrey," and she's like, "I don't really want to. He'll be mad at me." And the mom's like, "Tough shit, you gotta." And then she does, and then Oscar Isaac blows up at her. Like, what are you talking about? I like him in this because he's got a lot of energy, which I think is what Russell Crowe might be missing. But the movie doesn't really know what to do with him.
Oscar Isaac is really good at being like little piece of shit prince who you just, even when he's doing good things, you watch him and you're like, I don't like this guy.
Yes, son of a bitch.
And it's the kind of thing where you wear a lot of rings and you have your crown tilted just so, and you're like, this guy sucks. I know it. I know the movie wants me to know it, and I do. And I trust the movie, and it's visual shorthand for he's bad. But
I gotta say though.
Yeah.
You asked me to like betray my family and piss off my mom by marrying Léa Seydoux, I'd do it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'd do it for Oscar Isaac. Yeah, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, I'd do it for him too, definitely.
Yeah, any movie star really. I'm a cheap date as far as destroying familial relationships and being. I really just want to be king or queen, whatever's available at the time.
I'm not even talking about like being a king or queen. I'm just talking about Léa Seydoux as a person, like the actual actress Léa Seydoux.
Ah man, as much as I would love it, she's jet setting, doing movies with Tom Cruise. He's too much man. I'll never be able to compete with that.
That's true.
I'm like a foot taller than Tom Cruise. That's what I've got over him.
That's
Léa Seydoux likes her men tall. That's my advantage.
Does she though?
I don't know. I don't know her.
She seems like a tall person. I don't know.
She gets tired of having to do all her scenes with Tom Cruise standing on her knees.
Yeah. Oh, what a weirdo he is. She's 5'6", so she's not that tall. I don't know why I think she is.
She's like average then, yeah.
Oh, wait, is she in... She's not in the Mission Impossible movies. I forgot. She's in the James Bond movies. I'm thinking of Rebecca Ferguson, I think.
No, entirely different person.
Well, yeah, but there was 1 year. Oh no, she is in one of the Mission Impossible movies.
Good job.
There was 1 year where they made a Mission Impossible movie and a James Bond movie, and they were the same movie. And both movies introduced like a cool, tough lady who doesn't take shit from nobody, and like she's the equal to the hero guy. And in one it was her, and the other one it was Rebecca Ferguson. I got them mixed up. but apparently she was also in Ghost Protocol at some point. I think she's the one that they have to meet with at the Burj Dubai hotel or building to do like some sort of meeting. I don't know. That movie was good.
What a great scene. The Dubai scene in Ghost Protocol.
Oh, it's so good.
I actually out loud gasped when he was climbing that wall. It was so good.
Yeah, it's a great movie with a weird little ending where like they're in a car park that's trying to squish them. But like the first couple of scenes are really good. Speaking of weird ending, this movie ends with D-Day. Oldie-timey D-Day.
Yes.
Oh, wait, sorry. Before D-Day, real quick, Robin Hood invents the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
This is the buck wild twist I didn't want to spoil.
All right, so Diggins, you want to take it?
Absolutely. So
right, go
we're going through the movie, and Matt and Walter Loxley hasn't told Robin any of his past yet, but they're having a big festival because the plants are growing now because Robin and his merry men stole a bunch of like seed from the church because they were being greedy and like forcing Friar Tuck to send it all onto York. But anyway, and there Walter Loxley is like, so you want to know about your father then? Well, and close your eyes and just think of it, because it turns out he's got repressed memories of all this, I guess, for some reason. His dad was a stonemason who, it turns out, was also a philosopher who secretly wrote the Magna Carta and got a bunch of barons to sign it, but was then put to the death because the British authorities were like, we don't want a Magna Carta.
Oh my God.
So while King John, a big rebellion has been brewing because of Godfrey's plan by the barons in the north, which refers to a real historical event known as the Barons' War, which did ultimately result in the Magna Carta, although it was not this soon after Richard's death, and it did not end this cleanly, and it was anyway. So they're having a big meeting where John's like, well, we're being invaded by the French. You have to help me. And the Baron's like, well, why should we help you when you're always stealing all our money? We want to be, free. And John's like, but I'm the king. And Robin just shows up after, thanks to his repressed memories being brought back to him, knows that there's a secret Magna Carta stored away in some random stone monument for no reason that his dad made, I guess. Or there was, but he finds the handprints and the saying and everything, and it's like, a Magna Carta, of course! And so he gets up and he's like, if you'll permit me, my king, I think what this country needs is a Magna Carta. And Prince John is like, a Magna Carta, you say? You mean a document that it guarantees that you, the petty barons of England, can exploit your serfs as much as you want, and I won't tax you too much. And, if I arrest you, it'll be for a reason. Only you, specifically, the landed gentry, and not anybody else, because you have no conception of or interest in the peasants as a class, right? And he's like, no, I mean the American Bill of Rights, which I'm pretending the Magna Carta is. And everyone's like, American Bill of Rights? That sounds great. And let's have that.
Oh my God, it's so good. This movie is so stupid.
Robin Hood invents democracy.
Really stupid. This is where it gets advanced stupid. And
so the Magna Carta is considered an important document in terms of the foundation of constitutional governance. That is true. It is absolutely not in any way a document that provided the rights to people or was even remotely interested in that. It was, as I said, entirely about a bunch of feudal lords being like, don't tax us too much. And the king being like, fine.
I guess if you'll help me defeat France, then I won't tax you as much.
Not related!
And that's pretty much, he kind of Robin Hood's like, don't you want to do a Bill of Rights? And he's like, I guess it's cool that you guys are doing a Bill of Rights. Yeah.
It's like, I swear on my mother's life that I'll sign a Bill of Rights after we beat the French. And William Marshall gives him a look like, I know this motherfucker hates his mom. But everyone else is like, yeah, sounds great, King John.
Yeah. So then they go and do D-Day, but with oldie-timey things. And including like old-timey boats. Not like that old-timey, but just like they
like
do
rowboats.
D-Day boats. Yeah, but with there's lots of fighting with them.
They're like old-timey, literally like D-Day transport carriers with the front that goes like flips out and then you run out onto the beach. Which
and
I don't know enough about medieval boat design to say that's not accurate, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
I mean, this seems like the kind of shit you'd see in the Taron Egerton one. Like, that would be...
exactly.
Because you might as well have the guy at the top of the hill with a Gatling gun full of arrows just mowing everybody down. Because that is from the Taron Egerton one. Yeah, and like, the Taron Egerton one wished it thought of this. But then they get to there, and who do our wandering eyes does appear? What other character, which we haven't really gotten to yet, but who's at the D-Day?
Well,
King Philip of France.
Oh, yeah.
Well, sure, them too. Who else?
Cate Blanchett?
That's right.
Yeah.
In man disguise, kind of.
Oh, a thing that has not really come up in this movie, any particular interest in or desire to participate in war like the men.
I mean,
also,
it's a 2010s movie, so she does want that too.
Also, she's recruited all the little boys who live in the forest like dirt gremlins. Why? Who knows? But they've decided they listen to her now.
Yeah, she's their queen.
It's like her merry men, or merry boys.
Yeah.
Oh, we did skip over while Robin Hood is inventing the American Bill of Rights and pretending it's the Magna Carta. Sir Godfrey invades Nottingham.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
And has, as Nando put it, has a weird duel with Walter.
Yeah.
But like everything else in this movie, it's so inconsequential. Like Walter dies, that's it. He already
Walter dies, and now one of our main characters has a personal beef with Sir Godfrey. Will this be the one who confronts him at the end? Absolutely not.
Well, kind of. She gets her punch in.
She starts it for like a second and then immediately loses, and Robin has to jump in. That's the thing about this, about the girl power moment of like, Maid Marian gets to fight in the battle too. Is her fighting in the battle is she swings her sword once and then instantly loses and needs to be saved.
Yep. It's tough, man, because like it's stupid. It's very stupid, but at the same time, it's almost cheesy and silly enough to work for me. Like, if I didn't watch the beginning of this movie and it's just like, Maid Marian coming in with the sword to kill the bad guy, I think I'd be on board with that. But the movie both doesn't want to commit to it enough in the beginning and, like, kind of being, I don't know, a silly action movie version of this. Do you guys remember the King Arthur movie that came out in, like, the 2000s? It was, like, Clive Owen, where... Yeah, and they made like I don't even wait. What's the name of King Arthur's girlfriend?
Guinevere.
Guinevere. Yeah, they make Guinevere look a cool like warrior woman, and you know because like it was like a flipping on its head.
I remember the premise of that movie was that it wasn't a depiction of the King Arthur legend. It was the historical like Welsh figure that. The King Arthur legend is based on, who is a figure of some historical speculation. It is considered that there may have been some kind of like Welsh king who united a significant portion of the land that those legends are based on, but there's not great like records of it.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense because. I can see it being pitched as like it's a Robin Hood, but it's King Arthur, but it's like the opposite of what you'd expect. It's not your daddy's King Arthur. And I think see a moment in a Robin Hood version of that where, you know, Maid Marian goes in a battle to do a war with everybody. Like that seems like the kind of thing that you you'd see in this. But yeah, this movie doesn't really have too much interest in it, and she just kind of, I don't know, knocks what's his name off his horse. She gets knocked off her horse into the water, kind of struggles, and then Robin Hood has to come save her.
Because he's a big, strong man with abs. No one else has abs as far as we know.
And at the end of this fight, for the second time in the entire movie, Robin Hood uses a bow and arrow.
Yeah,
he does.
He
like
uses
a
He
sniper
spends
shot.
Robin Hood, the famous archer, who's like there are. You ask someone who is Robin Hood, the first thing they say is, steals from the rich, gives to the poor. The second thing they say is archer. And in this movie, he spends far more time swinging a sword around like a big old idiot than he does shooting a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Well, it's 'cause he's a big manly man, and like real manly men use swords. Arrows, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Arrows.
to its credit, and this is why I do think the other version, the Taron Egerton version, is worth like more of anyone's time than this one. They go out of their way to make the arrows a thing, and they go out of their way to make the stealing rich for the poor, or stealing from the rich, giving to the poor thing in a way that's really heavy-handed and silly. But at least you're like, okay, I'm watching Robin Hood. This is my one Robin Hood for the next 10 years. I guess I'm done. But yeah, this one, it doesn't do either of those. Although he does have a sweet like sniper arrow shot that is slow motion, and it's the same shot from the poster, but in the woods. It's weird if you notice that in the poster, but it's in the
That is
woods
true.
instead of on the beach. They just loved his face in that so much. And he kills the guy. He fucking absolutely through his whole body.
Yeah, he fucking
Gets him with
deletes
so much arrow.
Also,
Way
at
to
some
go.
point in these events, Maid Marian decides that she loves Robin, and she wants him to be her real husband and not just her fake husband.
Well, because he's a man of the people. He knows how to do stick fighting with the children. And also, I forget about this part. Remember the part where she's like, he just comes home from war. This is like way earlier in the movie, but it's like the first time they meet. And Robin Hood's like, I need someone to help me with my manly chainmail.
Yeah.
There's just a little clasp there and a little clasp there. And it's like,
And that's when we
really
see his
weird. Yeah.
fucking abs.
I mean, but he doesn't even have them. But sure, yeah.
It is true that typically a knight would not be capable of taking off their armor by themselves. But yeah, it's weird that she doesn't even leave the room. Spends like 5 seconds being like, "Oh, I'll servant girl. Can one of the servant girls come do this?"
Yeah,
and then just
tries
like
to
gives
get
up.
out. Yeah,
And and just does it herself. And he's like, and he's not like, "Oh, I mean, you could go find one of the servant girls. It's fine. You don't have to do it yourself." He just like lets her do it awkwardly.
well, that's his power play. It's his big manly power play.
Like, he's not like a dick to her, but he's not that nice to her either.
It's,
Nah.
well, he's like, you're a woman. Do a fucking woman's job, and yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
he knows that
by-
he's
by-
Robin Hood in this Robin Hood movie, and she's supposed to like him for that reason enough. Like,
Oh, sure. I mean, by like medieval standards, one could consider him a saint. But this is a movie we're making in the modern era, and this is supposed to be a likable character standards.
Yep.
I mean, he's not that nice to her.
no, yeah, not at all. The movie stinks. What's the end of the movie?
Oh, the end
Like
is
that.
so weird.
Yeah, we
Okay.
set up
So,
the sequel.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you guys. Up until the point at the ending where the French are fleeing and surrendering, and all the soldiers are going, Robin Longstride, like cheering his name, like, yeah, hooray, it's him, he did it, he's the guy. Have we seen, like, where's the scene where people find out he's not Robert Locksley?
Oh, that's a good question.
Why do people know he's not Robert Locksley? He never told anyone. No one who knows Robert Locksley showed up and said he's not Robert Locksley. At the big meeting where he presented the American Bill of Rights, he introduced himself as Sir Robert Locksley. Why do they suddenly know he's not Sir Robert Locksley?
That's a really good point. This is a
don't know.
really good point.
I don't know. It's a good question. The end. I don't know. Like the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think they like shot different versions of this movie, or like it feels like it could be kind of cobbled together in that way, and they were just like, they have to. He's Robert Locksley by now, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how this is going to end up going. So film it like that.
Well,
Or
and like
Robin Longfellow or whatever his name was.
the way they do the consequential like end of the movie, which could be like the start to this movie or another movie, is so fast and haphazard. It's like you could have made like a 30-minute or 20-minute intro where it's like, we finished having our war with the French, and you promised to be cool, King Richard. And King Richard's like, hey, guess what, fuckers? King John.
In like a wrestling heel turn on an assembled group, he like dramatically like puts the Magna Carta before him, like, I'm gonna sign the Magna Carta. Except I'm not, you idiots, and sets the Magna Carta on fire.
Like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Fucking like the other thing about that too is like see, he goes like he's gonna sign it, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna, and they're like, oh, come on, you said you would.
And he's like, and he's like, it's medieval times, and we all believe that I was literally put here by God. So fuck yourselves.
Yeah, that's right. That part was great.
And he just lights it on fire. It's amazing. And like they're not quite booing him, but they're like, oh no, come on, stop.
They're like, oh come on, man. No, oh man.
We wanted rights.
We wanted the American Bill of Rights. Oh jeez. It's like kicking the dirt. And
then King John is just like, from this day forth, Robin, known as Robin the Hood, is public enemy number 1 and shall be hunted down. Hood! And like, smash
and
the
Leia
credits.
Sado is like next to him, like shaking her head, doing like the, like shaking her hand in front of her throat, doing the, no, don't do this part gesture.
Yep.
Because even though the first scene of the movie, where we're supposed to realize that John is like not a great guy who's going to make bad decisions, is his mom going like, you can't marry that French girl, she's the niece of the King of France and it's all a bad idea. And then it turns out that she's a perfectly competent queen who does her job well and gives good advice. And actually his mom was totally wrong. She's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, that's true. What's up with that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just something I noticed.
That was weird. But then instead, it's like, oh my god, is it Robin Hood? And then someone's like, I got a paper. You gotta give me Robin Hood now. And then as they do that, the paper gets hit by an arrow, which bit I think comes right out of the other one.
It's even dumber than that, where the sheriff of Nottingham puts up the paper and is like, oh, so Robin Longstride is an outlaw now. Now, can one of you give me an hammer and nail so I can nail this decree to this tree here, please? Somebody please step forward and give me a hammer and nails. And then the arrow pins it to the tree.
That's right.
It's so stupid. This movie is so dumb.
Yeah, it's
But,
really
like, if the whole movie was that dumb, it would be fine. I would be like, that was a dumb movie, but it was fun.
Yeah, I got you.
And then the movie ends.
And, like, it ends there, which is crazy. That could have been the beginning to an awesome fucking Robin Hood movie. Like, you could do the suspense thing where it's like, you're waiting to see Robin Hood. When are we going to get Robin Hood? And then it's like the first thing is the arrow. And then it's like, then there's a Robin Hood heist. And there's, like, it's like cool stuff you could have done. But, nah, fuck, this movie just wants to be boring as shit.
Well, it's another one of these fucking Robin Hood movies where everybody in the movie is more interesting than Robin Hood. So by the end of the movie, you're like, is one of them going to be Robin Hood? Is this your twist? Is Cate Blanchett going to be Robin Hood somehow?
Right.
Like, can that be the movie? And it's like, nah, it's Robin Hood, from the poster. Here he is. Smile.
It's also part of that trend that I would say is less prevalent now, but still happens. Of just like, everyone thinks we need an origin story, and we don't. I promise you, everyone knows who Robin Hood is. Just start where he's already Robin Hood, and you tell a story about Robin Hood. We don't need the origin story. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like an effort to, we got to cash in on the Robin Hood thing and make 3 Robin Hood movies, and then it never happens because they're not successful, and Jamie Foxx can't be like a compelling...
Yeah,
Robin Hood trainer. Like, that's not how that shit works.
It's such a weird, like, I mean, what do you think do you think the studio knows when they're making a Robin Hood movie that this probably won't work? Like, they're like, I mean, we're going to make a Robin Hood movie because we have 25 spots in 24 movies, so we'll do it, and maybe we'll break even, but it's not going to be something. Or do you think they make it and go like, we got it. This is the Robin Hood movie that's going to break through finally.
I mean, I don't think a movie of this size gets made if there's not at least like one producer or executive or something who thinks it's going to be a hit.
Yeah. Do you think it's just Ridley Scott just like forcing this movie through at every turn, being like, no, you don't get it. I'm Ridley Scott. This is the guy from Gladiator. I'm the guy from Gladiator. This is pretty much Gladiator again, you guys.
I feel like that was probably how it was sold. I don't know if Ridley Scott was the one making the pitch explicitly, but like definitely that was why people signed up, being like Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe doing a big pseudo historical epic again. Obviously, that's going to be a huge hit. I gotta sign up.
And it was. It was really good. It made an okay amount of money. People like this guy.
Very mixed. Very mixed reviews.
Do you think there's some thought about Robin Hood being like a big international property? Like you just drop a Robin Hood movie in like, you know, parts of the world that don't really have, you know, that don't even know who like the Transformers are because they, you know, they don't watch those cartoons when they were 10 like the rest of the Americas. They just got a Robin Hood like story, and then it's like Robin Hood, the one from the cartoon. Oh my God, yes, a movie of him.
So exciting.
You know, like, it probably polls well when it's like, name this property and this property and this property. It's like Robin Hood. I know who that is. And then movie studios are like, yes, okay, that is enough for us to try.
I mean,
I'm sure there's probably some like Bollywood Robin Hood movie out there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wonder what the next one of these is, because it's probably a Robin Hood movie in the works.
There's always a Robin Hood movie in the works.
I want like a goofy. I don't know. You know what I want? Here it is. I want a modern day Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, like Arrow.
Yeah, but he also like he steals from the rich.
Oh.
But in like crypto. It's like money plane.
Yes.
It's like money plane. Billions in crypto.
Like Robin Hood, and makes an app. The app is called Robin Hood. Now that's an idea.
Or what if Robin Hood decides to start buying a bunch of stock that a hedge fund is currently short selling, so he can make a bunch of money off it and distribute that money to the people? Because everyone knows that buying stocks is populism.
Now you got it. Here's the thing. I feel like you can make a movie about Robin Hood and just don't make it about Robin Hood himself. Make it about any other character, and that's kind of a movie, maybe. I don't understand why they don't do that, except for that they can't call the movie Robin Hood, so it probably doesn't test as well in, you know, just like poster, people seeing the poster and going like, oh yeah, I know what that is. But like, there's interesting characters in that universe. They're just not Robin Hood.
Right.
It's a shame.
Right. I was just going to say, like, I feel like part of this too is that there's just like the appetite for like the medieval style movies. I don't think it's there. Despite my claim that I think the Lord of the Rings TV show is going to be the thing that brings whatever back, or is going to be super hot in 2021. I just don't like actually think there's like a realistic, like huge appetite for this kind of stuff. So I think that hinders it partially.
Do you think it's because one franchise completely fucking destroyed it by being awful at the end?
Yes.
And no one wants to see anything like that again for a very long time.
Super fucking possible.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think
so maybe you do want a modern day. Maybe do like a cyberpunk Robin Hood. I don't know, man.
Oh,
I mean, they shouldn't make it, but they probably will, so that'll be what we get. Yeah. I don't know. Robin Hood's kind of cool, but also, yeah. I mean, and there is like the Green Arrow and stuff, who is pretty much Robin Hood, you know, if you want him to be. Like the idea of like the Green Arrow, you know, there's lots of stories about him. A lot of times he's a man of the people, and he fires arrows, so fuck it. That's Robin Hood now. That's your movie. But, yeah, I don't know.
What if we do Robin Hood, but Robin Hood is like also like a senator, and he has to, you know, contend with all that shit.
Great.
Yeah, I know, I'm killing it. No more Robin Hood ideas. I'm sorry, everyone, that you had to watch this. I'm really sorry.
All right, well, let's talk about some things that people should watch that aren't this.
Yeah,
would that be fun?
I mean,
all right, guys.
lots of things.
That's true. Yeah, pretty much most things.
Almost literally anything.
almost everything we talked about before in previous podcasts, but also maybe some new things in our classic segment. Guys, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do have some stuff to recommend. So this first one isn't really a rec. It's more of like a public service announcement, I guess. But I texted Nando on Sunday that Money Plane had won the Royal Rumble. Edge.
I didn't know what that meant.
No, you nailed it. You really... You were like,
plane, right? It crashed into the Royal Rumble.
Well, no, the Money Plane people were betting on the Royal Rumble, and they won big because they were right about Edge winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
exactly
and fucking the alligator in under 50 seconds or whatever the time period would be for that. Yeah.
So Edge won the Royal Rumble, which I found super interesting just because, like, he's old and like that's not usually a thing you want to do. Like juxtaposition, Bianca Belair was like one of my favorite like not just women's wrestlers but like wrestlers period. She won the women's Royal Rumble, and it makes sense because she's like an up and comer who that's a shot you want to give to. But like having Edge win the Royal Rumble, like what shot are you giving him? He's not gonna hold the WWE title for a while unless he's just gonna, I don't know, maybe he, all that Money Plane money he got can just extend his wrestling life for another few years. So I just found that really weird that, like, we did Money Plane not too long ago. I guess it's been a while now. It was like, like 7 months ago or whatever. But yeah, that like the fact that he won the Royal Rumble, found it so weird that he won. Yeah. I guess you go back and watch.
They had to take advantage of all that Money Plane heat.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess Vince is like, oh, this Money Plane movie's perfect. I'll have Edge win Royal Rumble. So that's not a rec.
Vince McMahon.
Thank you. It's not a rec, but it's something I wanted to talk about just because, again, just super weird. But more to follow, I guess, after WrestleMania. We'll see how Edge does in WrestleMania. And I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Soft rec for... Oh, actually, this is like a pretty good rec. So WWE Network has all of like their pay-per-views, right? And I subscribe because I watch their pay-per-views, and it's like $10 a month, and like I don't watch anything besides the pay-per-views. Like there is original programming, but I would never watch like Ric Flair and Kofi Kingston like talk at a dinner table. Like it's just not like a thing I'm gonna watch. But apparently they're moving everything to Peacock. So all of the wrestling pay-per-views are now going to be on Peacock, and that's only $5 a month ad-supported, which I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it. I'll save $5 a month so I can like watch wrestling on not WWE Network, but on Peacock. So I guess I'm getting Peacock, guys. I'll let you know how it is. I get to watch. I get to watch The Office. I get to watch Modern Family. I get to watch whatever.
Which Office tier are you getting? Are you getting the one where you get to see all the Office? Or are you getting the one where you get to see extra Office, Office Plus? That's how it works. It's an awful, 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 awful world we live in.
I know, but like, I if wrestling's on Peacock, that's where I'm going. Like, you're right. Like, it's an awful world, but like, if there's a thing that I watch and it's on this platform, like, what choice do I have, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially live programming like wrestling. Like, there's not much I can do. So, I don't know. Fuck me, I guess. So that's that. So, a couple recs real quick. Both video games. I tried to get this earlier in the pandemic, but I couldn't, and Michelle found it and got it. Ring Fit Adventure. It's fun. It's like it's like the Switch's version of like exercising, gamification exercising. You get this like big like it's a ring, and it's kind of like a steering wheel, and there's like a lot of tension in it. So like you can squeeze it, and you can like pull it, and the game has you do like, it's so crazy. So like if you go to a level and there's like a boss fight, the way you defeat the boss is by doing like exercise moves. So you do like squats, and like that's how you beat the boss. Or you do like high knees, and like that's another move. Or
like normal games,
like normal games, right? So it's just like, it's like the most game, like actual game in terms of like exercise hybrid game that I've seen. And it's something that you just kind of like with the Ring Fit itself, you can kind of just like, just while you're watching TV, you could like put some tension in the ring or whatever, and it like tracks calories and stuff like that. It's like a fun little thing. Like if you have a Switch, which I know was also like impossible to get for a while, but yeah, it's just like another exercise thing we were looking to kind of do. And I'm like satisfied with it so far. Like you do get like a good workout from it. Like you will sweat. So, and And like the ring thing itself's like less annoying than like I remember like there was like the Wii Fit had the board and the board was but like I think this is like a better version of that. So I'm all for like Nintendo's fitness stuff. I think it's really good. And then another game I want to rec was checking out the Game Pass games. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is on Game Pass. I never played the first one, Ori and the Blind Forest, but this one it's like a platformer. It reminds me a lot of what's that platformer where you play as an insect that I cannot remember the name of?
Bugsnax.
Hollow
Exactly.
Knight, one of the greatest games of all time.
Thank you so much, Diggins. Reminds me a lot of Hollow Knight. It's kind of got like similar vibes where there's like a big map and you get different power-ups as you go along. And the
Almost
scenery...
like it's a Metroidvania, perhaps?
Yes, I would call it a Metroidvania for sure. But the music's very beautiful and serene. It's like very peaceful. Like even in the fights and stuff, like it gets like a little intense, but like the visuals and the characters and especially the music is just like very serene. Again, if you have Game Pass, I would definitely recommend checking out Ori Will of the Wisps. I had no idea what the story was, so I just like Wikipedia'd it. And luckily, the games like this are like the plots are very straightforward because you're playing most of the game like platforming, so the whole plot's like 3 sentences. And I would say that's also true for like this game. Like I'm 10 hours into the game and 2 plot sentences, so it's like very, and also like the plot's not like super important. I think like the gameplay and the music and the visuals are like actually what makes the game interesting. And Apex Season 8 came out and Nando and I are playing. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a
thing.
It's the thing. So I just throw it out there. So those are my recs.
If any of you out there are fans of Giant Bomb, they picked Ori and the Will of the Wisps as one of their top 10 games of 2020.
So did Donkey, and how could they both be wrong?
Exactly.
So,
All right. Diggins, what about you?
I just have one quick one for this week, which is I watched a movie a few days ago.
How dare you? No, what was it?
I know. It was disgusting of me. So it's a Japanese horror movie from the 70s called House. It has become kind of a cult classic in the past 15 years or so, I'd say, because it is a very, very weird movie. It's kind of like... It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo starring a bunch of Japanese schoolgirls, where all the Scooby-Doo characters also get horribly murdered.
Oh, that's horrible. I mean, horror film, so it tracks.
Yeah, it's like really weird and like very psychedelic, I think is a good word for it, because it has these strange cuts of just like fading in, like keeping one scene faded in and the other scene faded out, so they're kind of just overlaid over each other for a little while. It has the special effects are purposely kind of bad. The director said he wanted them. He like literally consulted his like young daughter about what the special effects should look like and like what the horror things that happen should be, because he wanted them to be like a child's nightmare and not like anything coherent or logical.
Oh my god, why would you do that?
And it's very funny because it's a comedy horror movie is a better way to describe it. Like, for example, to give a sense of its sensibility, the 7 like main character girls are named Gorgeous, Fantasy, Melody, Sweet, Kung Fu, Prof, and Mac.
Okay.
And they like go to Gorgeous's aunt's house out in the countryside for their summer vacation. And then it turns out that her aunt's house has a bunch of horror stuff going on. And things go from there. But it's so weird. It's surprisingly funny, and then by the end, like as it goes on, as horror comedy has a tendency to do, like the further into the movie you get, the more it becomes like actually kind of creepy and unsettling, as opposed to just wacky, but not necessarily in like a gore way, the way a lot of similar movies do. Like I said, the special effects don't look good, even though that's purposeful. So even when like gory things happen, it's not like buckets of blood, like, oh, this is hard to watch kind of stuff. It's just kind of like, oh, what, this is weird. Ugh. It's considered a big influence on like Evil Dead and the Evil Dead franchise, if that also helps you give an idea of what it's like. But if any of that sounded appealing to you, it's super interesting, and I really liked it. So I would definitely recommend that you check it out. So again, it's called House, House. So yeah, it's on the Criterion channel if you subscribe to that, because it is a movie in the Criterion collection.
I was going to ask you, Diggs. So I had a feeling that's where this came from. So I'm trying to do the Criterion challenge myself, but I'm like a huge piece of shit. How do you like make like time to like watch these movies? Do you like schedule it out? You're just like, as you're go, like, I don't know.
DJ, I have a lot of free time right now, so it's very easy.
Yeah, I mean, I you know what it is? I guess it's more of a thing. Like, I can't get myself into like I'm gonna watch like a classic good movie that I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy. Like, I'd rather just watch like Fortune Fire or something stupid. Like, it's not like a time thing. It's not like a do I want to do this thing.
Well, DJ, I'm picking movies I think I'm going to enjoy. I don't always end up enjoying them, but like I am picking things I'm genuinely interested in based on the parameters of the challenge. I'm not just like, well, this movie's probably going to blow, but I guess I got to watch it.
That makes sense. Okay.
And I mean, there's a lot of interesting choices in the Criterion collection. It's not all like stuffy black and white movies from the 20s. Like, Armageddon is in the Criterion collection.
I know, somehow. And I think that's the hard part, too, is, like, I'm trying to do movies I haven't seen, because, like, there are a lot of movies I'm like, that's great, but it's like, I've seen it, so...
I'm only doing movies I haven't seen, yes. Yeah. But there's plenty of movies I haven't seen but want to.
Right, because that is the way to do it, right? It's like to expose yourself to, like, a lot of new movies.
Mm-hmm. And, hey, another you'll appreciate this, DJ. A lot of those older movies and, like, classic movies, tight 90.
Yeah? Oh my God! That's all you had to say. Oh my goodness!
House is a tight 90.
Nice.
There you go.
All right. So
cool.
Wait, is it? Now I feel like that might have been a lie. I'm going to double check that while Nando starts his rec.
That's fine.
All right. Let's see. What did I watch or do this week?
Comics. You read a comic.
What'd you say, DJ?
You read a comic.
I did. I read two. So I read, what was it? Okay, so for the Nando Movies Patreon book club this month, we did Detective Captain Marvel. So I read that. I'd never read it before. I know the gist of it. It's Captain Marvel, the one that was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers, Marvel, but who in the comics is like a doofy-looking kind of dude, not Annette Bening. And he is, and he dies. He just gets cancer and dies. It's very sad. It's a good book. Yeah, and it's interesting. The collection I have has like his first adventure and then the adventure where he got cancer, but they he didn't. But they retcon it to be that was so you get that and you get the ending. So it's interesting piece of comic history. It's one of the only deaths that like matters. Kind of. He hasn't really come back. He's like a version of him has come back, but it's not the same one. But also, like, the character isn't that interesting. So, besides having died, if you brought him back, he'd just kind of stand around and go, huh? And then you'd go, oh, okay, so let's go do something else now. Like, but he, one thing we did notice, he looks really weird the way he's drawn because he's a Superman figure, right? Without a cape or anything, but he's just like, super ripped and has a bodysuit. But instead of having underwear over the pants like Superman does that are just like briefs, he has like that V kind of thing that Dr. Manhattan wears when he's doing war. Yeah. And it looks really weird. It makes his torso look very long, and it's very upsetting. But so that comic's good. The other one I read, comic called Dark Victory. It's an old I think it's called, right? Yeah. It's the follow-up to The Long Halloween, so it's by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, and it's The Long Halloween is kind of like Batman's interaction, or like first like interaction with like supervillains. So it's like this half mobby, half supervillainy story that ends with Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face. It's what Dark Knight is based on. It's what all the Batman movies are based on. I'm sure the new one will be, Long Halloween too. But this one is the continuation of that story, which is like kind of what Robin, how he factors in everything, and then also Two-Face starting being a criminal, and it's pretty good. I liked it. I had it sitting on my shelf for a while, and I wasn't reading it because it was just not, one of the newish things, and I enjoyed it. That art is just very cool, and I like the way they draw that Batman. Only other things, I've read a couple of like small things this week. DC is doing this weird like future event that I don't completely understand. I don't think anyone does, but they've made future versions of some of the comics. So there's like a future Wonder Woman where the whole world is dead except for her, because she's immortal, and I think it's called the Immortal Wonder Woman. That one was kind of interesting. It's a future Nightwing. That one was short, interesting. And then there was a future Superman. It's called like Superman War of World or something. I don't know. And that one was kind of cool. So all in all, these comics, while generally pointless, are interesting. Which is, I guess, true of all comics, but especially in the grand scheme of things, they're going to be 2 issues long, and then, as far as we know, we'll never hear from these characters again, although I'm sure they'll find their way into the normal comics. So, I don't know, kind of cool. Dick Grayson's fun. But yeah, that's really it. What are we doing next week, fellas? What news story was in the news 2 or 3 days ago that we can glom onto in a week and a half?
We're gonna do the QAnon movie, everybody.
Oh no, the movie Conspiracy with Mel Gibson.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but then we get the conspiracy theories and the anti-Semitism.
Exactly. It's the
actually...
total package. It's where he became radicalized. Just kidding. It was at the dinner table. We should do one of the movies from the 2 franchises that will actually happen soon because, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but then recently we got all the confirmation that the Snyder Cut is coming out in March of this year, and
Let's
they really
fucking go.
We're getting a new trailer on Valentine's Day apparently because Zack Snyder, that's Zack Snyder.
Well, it's the perfect gift for your lover.
Exactly.
Think of all the great Valentine's Days we've been having. Last year, Sonic the Hedgehog came out on Valentine's Day. Now a trailer for the Snyder Cut? Our cup runneth over. I know. You start having a night with the with the significant other. Things are getting a little hot and heavy, and you want to keep things going for longer. You just put the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer on over the bedpost so that it never ends. You just stay in that moment. It's the worst. Like, it's just going to be such a weird March. We get that. We get Godzilla v. Kong, which I contend will stink. But that's just because all the movies up until then kind of have... And it's directed by the guy that made Death Note. Not the first Godzilla, which is pretty good.
Uh-huh. Sure it is.
He just loves Aaron Taylor Johnson and his freaking
If we ever do that movie, I'll get the chance to defend this position.
So here's what we got. Here's what's kind of on the docket. It could be that. It could be older Godzilla, older King Kong. It could also be Man of Steel, which I think Man of Steel is the only... So here's what I think we do for that. Man of Steel is the only one we've never actually fully covered on the show in any form. I think we do Man of Steel. Well, did we do Man of Steel at some point?
No.
We sure we didn't do that in like a run-up to Justice League?
No, you know how I know?
How?
I've never seen it.
Oh, well, that's never stopped you before.
Oh, my. That's what I'm sure
Got
about.
him.
Okay, so I think we'll have to do that at some point. And then I think we'll probably have
Google
to do
because I'm questioning myself.
some sort of like compendium of DC EU before Justice League comes out. So that's 2 podcasts, but we're still in February. So I think then that means we have to start doing Godzilla stuff, or any other movies coming out soon that we need to talk about.
Judas and the Black Messiah is coming out soon. We're going to cover that one.
Let's rip that to pieces. Yeah. Who's in that? You got that Gut Out guy. We'll do Get Out. That'll be a fun one to nitpick.
Lakeith Stanfield is in it.
The Get Out guy as well. All Get Out guys.
I think of Lakeith Stanfield as more of the Sorry to Bother You guy, because he's the main character of that one. He's only kind of in Get Out.
I think of him more as the guy from the Death Note movie. Oh, Death Note movie. He'll never leave us. It is the guy. That is the guy who's making the King Kong movie, though. So just in case, don't get those hopes too high, people. But no, I think we can do Godzilla, King Kong movies for a while. Then I think we can definitely fit in 4, which would be Godzilla 1, like Godzilla 2000.
Godzilla 1998 with Matthew Broderick. Godzilla 2000
Yes.
is actually a different Japanese movie.
Oh, yeah. So 1998, Zilla, as they tend to call it in Japan. And then King Kong 2005, maybe. That one I'd say we'll see. It's just so long. I watched it recently, like
So
parts of it.
long.
I was enjoying it, but it's just very long.
There's good things in that movie, but it's way too long.
Yeah. It's the only Godzilla or Kong movie that's come out in the last, 5 years with a character in it. And it's Jack Black. He's a character. He plays a character, a memorable character, besides just a line machine, which is what all the rest of these movies have.
Yeah.
But then we do Godzilla 2014, Big Fat Godzilla. And then we do Kong Skull Island, which I don't think we've done on the show.
We have not.
Okay. So here's what I think we do. Next week, Zilla, 1998, Matthew Broderick. Week after that, maybe King Kong. Maybe we go straight to Godzilla 2014 in case, I don't know, more Robin Hood stuff. And then we do another older Robin Hood movie. I don't know.
And we got to do the Kevin Costner Robin Hood.
Not saying we should have done it before that we did this one, but now I kind of want to see it just to see if it's any good.
And then we can judge all Robin Hood movies just very fairly.
I'm pretty sure I've got my ranking pretty solid, pretty set in my head, and the Kevin Costner one is in the middle.
In fact, guys, this is now a Robin Hood podcast. We're going to watch every Robin Hood movie ever made from the 20s up till present day. And just at the end of every podcast, we're going to put them in the official Robin Hood rankings so that by the end we have the definitive list of Robin Hood movies ranked by quality.
All right. Well, so far we've got 2 down. We've got 2018's Robin Hood and 2010's Robin Hood. And for me, I'm going to put 2018 over 2010. 1 and 2. So
All
far,
right.
that's the only ones we've talked about on the show. We'll see if that changes. Anything to plug, Hellas?
Just same for me. Check out Roses and Rejections on the Pop Break Network.
Same
Very
for me
good.
also. A littleperspective.substack.com for my newsletter.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I have a video that I put out the other day on WandaVision, and then another one that's coming out eventually on something else. Who knows what? We're still figuring that out.
Oh,
But-
can I say some real quick on WandaVision?
Yeah, we could talk WandaVision real quick.
Well, no, it's not. I don't want to talk WandaVision at all. Just risking if people have seen it. But what I want to talk about is I watched The Bachelor, as I mentioned, which is on ABC, and if they're
Vision is a bachelor this season. It's crazy.
it's
God.
a crazy thing that they add to. He has such an advantage over everyone else because of all the superpowers. So
And
it's
he has a dick, as we know. Joss Whedon said.
Yeah.
He really
I
wanted
mean,
to have a dick.
listen, they boned down in that one episode. It's basically canon at this point that he got that dick.
I'm pretty sure we've known every single time the Vision has been in a movie, except for Civil War is the only one I think. But every time Vision shows up, some press junket, it comes up so Vision, he kissed a girl. Does he have a dick? And Paul Bettany gets to restate that the Vision does, in fact, have the ability to produce a dick if he wants to. Because he is a shapeshifter, same way he produced the cape in Avengers and Age of Ultron. He can just make a dick if he wants. Anyway, what were you saying?
Anyway, so all I was saying was, so on The Bachelor, it's on ABC, so all the commercials are usually Disney focused, and I don't know who pushed the trigger on whoever, when the recent episode happened, it's okay, now all the spoiler commercials. If you didn't see the latest WandaVision commercial, yo, man, you were just fucked with spoilers. They just gave away everything, and I would argue some spoilers for stuff that's about to happen. And that's how I learned there's this mid-season trailer floating around. So
Yeah,
just
I saw
be
that.
careful out there. And what I'm trying to think is what's Disney's play here? Why are you just blowing everything up on this show that has a lot of intrigue? And I'm with Diggins. I'm a little bit disappointed in how this went down.
I think there's
I can't remember
just
if
some
we said
people-
that on the air.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah.
That has not been publicly announced. I'm still generally
My bad.
enjoying WandaVision, but I didn't.
I didn't mean to make this a
I'm
WandaVision
conflicted.
conversation,
I'm,
but
I'm conflicted about the latest episode. I think it is cool and interesting, but also robs the show of a lot of what makes it fun. But maybe we'll talk more about WandaVision later. I don't need to elaborate.
Yeah,
I would
I
say
just think the
about-
trailers do that, but worse, and they catch you by surprise. It's what the fuck?
Well, and about spoilers, I've heard that there's spoilers for episodes 5 and 6 just sitting around in the ether. People have them, so watch out for them. I've already Twitter blocked quite a few words I don't know if any of them are what the spoilers are, but if they are, I will not hear of them.
Man, I can't believe Tom Holland is just tweeting out full scripts again. He's
Yeah,
not
Mark
even in this
Ruffalo
show.
accidentally listened to the whole first half of the 5th episode. He's like, I know they're filming Spider-Man as well, and people are showing up in Georgia where they're filming it. It's like, ooh, that guy's in it. So Tom Holland, I'm sure, will leak some fun stuff of that too. But yeah, there's rumors that there was some sort of fun spoiler character that is as cool as Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. So who knows what that is, but that is, that's something to look out for.
Really? Will it be as bad for the show as that cameo was?
Oh my god.
Ooh, monster. It'll be great for fans and then detractors, haters, if you will hate it. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So watch out for WandaVision spoilers in the world. But I know what you mean, DJ, with that trailer. That trailer does have like a lot of, I guess, like stuff that we knew was coming. And it does seem like there's big spoilers that have been yet to be revealed at all. Like characters that we just haven't seen. So I think whatever the real spoilers are, I think they're hiding them. But I just think there's a lot of people that are like, you got to show me how this is going to be an MCU thing. Otherwise, I'm not interested. So
yeah,
I think they had to like satiate those people. Like, show me Vision flying around or I will walk.
Yeah, I get it. So,
and I don't agree with those people. But yeah, you know, that's what these movies have been for so long that I understand how people might be like, this isn't what those things are.
Right.
So make it that for me, please. Anyway, that show is coming out. But we might get we might get episodes 5 and 6 this week.
Oh.
Because of the leaks.
Really?
I've heard rumors that they might drop both. We will see.
Interesting.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, it'd be great because fuck it. I don't want to get spoiled. Tell me, show me right now. But yeah, so until next week, we'll probably be talking about Godzilla 1998.
Sweet.
Until then, I'm at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Woohoo!
Bye. We love you.